optimal internet you can get there?
I mean, pretty much, yeah. I don't have like I can't. We're live, by the way. I don't have I can't do Starlink or anything. So
I don't even
because
know
there's
what
too many
Starlink is.
Why not?
too many trees around.
That's too many trees. Oh,
Too many fuckers.
What's going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast back once again, episode 203. I'm your host, Anthony Trapani. Always got a couple of resident homies with me. I got Casey Howard, Joel Horner. What up, dudes?
hi.
Hello.
That was a unique intro. A little
That was my bad. I think.
What are you talking
zoom in
about?
on the chili dog.
That's great.
Oh,
you should
yeah.
just cut out the totally vectored, cut out the chili dog, and just had it coming at you the whole time during the intro.
Like a good dog.
Lee went down to the liquor deli and got himself a chili dog and brought it back to the Thunderdome, Furniture Dome. All right. Anyways, all right.
What up, dudes? And we got an old friend of ours tonight. I've been wanting him on for quite some time. I'm super stoked we finally nailed him down. Mr. Lee Smith of Estradasphere, God of Shamisen, and many other credits. What up, dude?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Dude, it's so good to see you, dude. We haven't talked in years, bro.
Probably going on like 14 years since I've talked or spoken to you guys in person.
Jesus
It's crazy.
Christ.
It's weird when you have a friend that just says "fuck the internet," you know. Like,
Yeah, fuck social media.
well, yeah,
That's
you know what
smart,
I
though.
mean.
That's
It's
cool.
like,
I mean, right now, I'm
like-
doing a month off right now. I'm surprised you've done 14 years off.
Just never done Facebook. I have Instagram, but it's on my desktop. I don't have it on my phone. One of those weirdos. I don't like to look at it.
That's smart. Yeah. So you don't constantly look at it whenever you have the chance.
Like most people.
That's smart.
Yep,
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be a control in any science experiment, right? Like,
indeed. Oh, the pandemic really hit it off for me. I just got rid of it.
yeah.
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 That makes sense.
Well, dude, thanks, dude. Lee, this is awesome. Like I said, we've been wanting you on for a while, dude, and it's a cool excuse to have a little bro down.
Yeah, indeed. Happy to be the least viewed guest on the pod.
Nah.
Good bunch of homies sitting around talking.
Hell yeah, dude. That's what's up.
Dude, that's what it's all about.
I don't give a shit.
We tend to notice that when we venture outside of, death metal, we start to have, the more avant-garde guests that we've had in the past. They, I mean, people still watch it, but yeah, some of these people who listen to the show literally are just like, whoa, Joel. That's crazy, dude.
You okay?
It sounded like it came from your feet, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at my feet.
Creeped all the way up your body, dude. I heard it fucking
Gross.
climbing up, dude.
It just caught me, dude. Anyway,
But yeah,
Rich.
We're on a path. We're on a trajectory of like killer rad, like super talented, like crazy avant-garde drummers. So
Yeah,
we have,
mhm.
Kenny, and
We got to bring it down a notch now. You had Kenny and then Alex. So now you get me. You get the
We've
drag.
actually been doing a lot of drummers in general.
Yeah, drummer month for sure. I've been digging it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We should have a drummer month. That'd be like a.
It's
that's
already
a
happening.
thing.
One
Yeah,
thing
It
yeah.
I
already
really,
happened. Now it's going to be
this
November
world-
every year.
that we've been talking about lately, Lee, is I really want Joel to start playing drums. I think it's become a thing where I think it's something you need to do, dude. Like, I think you could
I've always
unlock
wanted
things.
to.
I know
Dude,
that
it's
was like your
simple.
first instrument.
Joel
And your dad, it's your dad's fault, dude. You could have been a sick drummer, dude, but your dad was like,
Think about
Nah,
this, though,
dude.
too. I had fucking Casey's set in my living room for like years, and then I had Lee's set in my living room for like
Right.
years, and I sat behind him maybe one time each. Like I like turned on the triggers, was like dun, 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 like just like the triggers for a second, and was like, and I'd be like, all right,
If Joel just sits down, it's like his feet can just.
that's the dream. That'd be amazing if that just happened.
I
I
mean,
was like,
Joel's like, yeah,
Mullins from Estradasphere could always do that. It was weird. He'd sit down on the kit and do
really?
screen double bass runs for like 10 seconds, and that's it.
Jesus,
trip. We've had Tim on.
crazy.
Yeah, I know.
He's awesome.
Watch the episode. It's like, how him before
It's
me,
him.
guys?
I think, dude, I want to say that we couldn't find you.
My phone number
at
hasn't
one
changed in
point.
20 years.
That's
Joel.
true. That's true.
Wait,
No, but the thing is, though,
I
I didn't have you in my phone anymore, though, and I had you in my phone forever, and then I looked Lee Smith, and it was gone. Maybe upon getting a new phone, when weird change. Oh, I got new phone numbers twice. Okay, that'll do it.
Yeah. I still rock the 831 number, man. It's weird.
Yeah.
But still,
where are you living at now?
I am living in Woodstock, Georgia.
Yeah.
About 40 miles north of Atlanta.
Okay.
Wow.
Never even heard of it. Never heard of her.
It's good. It sucks.
dude, I just texted you for the first time in 14 years.
We can hear it, dude. It's going like.
Yeah,
I got silenced over here.
it's proof. That's cool.
Probably Lee's Android is making that noise.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Well, this is long overdue, and I love you, Lee. And so many ways, dude. I'm very happy about this episode tonight. I was looking forward to it all week and especially all day. And you are a fine gentleman, and I'm just excited to just dig right in, dude.
Totally, dude. And yeah, I had a great time, going over the Stratosphere. I've listened to basically just Palace because even though you were playing all that stuff, the older songs live and shit, I just wanted, to connect with your performance with the band, and also, got a Shamisen. I even got down the hole to find, going on your discography, or you go on discogs.com to find out whatever, but like you can't go on Wikipedia and all that shit to dig down that deep, or even like what's the metal stuff. Yeah, like Evelyn, like that album. You were on a couple of songs, and actually that's a crazy listen.
Jason,
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like a duo, a chick and a dude, but it's this whole
that too, yeah.
It's like an audio play basically about
it's a chick from the Dresden Dolls.
Say that again.
Oh, it's a chick from the Dresden Dolls, Amanda Palmer. Estradasphere got slightly involved with her towards the end, but we'll cover that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, you look at the personnel on that album, it's everybody in Estradasphere basically.
Yeah, we pretty much recorded all of it. It's wild.
It's rad, dude. But yeah, dude. So I've enjoyed everything that you've been a part of. Watching you live with the band too. I've seen you at several different venues. You guys were always at the top of my list for just overall live performance. It was always there was an extra aspect to an Estradasphere set,
especially when I was playing with them. It was like we didn't even have openers at one point. We just played 2 sets and that was it.
Yeah, dude.
That's crazy.
I mean, and it's a cool thing to experience a band right when they go out on tour and then see their last show. I think that's how we did it. You guys did. You played local and then took it out and then came back and played local again. And I think it was Moe's Alley and the Attic.
Oh,
I don't even know if it's
the Attic.
Oh yeah, the Attic. Yeah, I want to get deep in that. Dude, that's fucking.
Those shows were nuts.
Yeah, dude. So I just
let's
also want to thank you for all the entertainment.
Shit.
So down.
I think I'm in the negative here.
Well, dude,
all right.
Let's kind of do the whole story.
Yeah, we got to do.
We got Battle Forge coffee. Homies Deeds Flesh have a coffee coming. Sorry.
I like this one. That's better than
Hell dude. Lee knows what's up, dude. But yeah, that's where we want you to go. We all drink coffee, guys. And if you're making it at home, you got to buy the beans. Go buy the beans from Battle Forge Coffee. It's quality stuff.
Yeah,
it's the homies and Deeds of Flesh. And they got a great company over there.
Those dudes are fresh.
Hell yeah. Dudes are fresh.
And then,
GeneratorRehearsalStudios.com, Oceanside, California, is a quality jam space that you can go rent from cool people and do something like that right there. If you're watching, that's me recording Severed.
No, he was actually a generator at that picture.
Oh yeah. I know. What am I talking about, dude? That was me last week at GeneratorRehearsalStudios.com.
The website, not the place.
Yeah, Diego was recording it, and yeah, dude. I gotta plug a human.
We got to plug a human, dude.
Why didn't we think of one? We got to start doing that every time.
Shout out to Diego. Yeah, plug
Diego was
Diego.
the first.
Dude,
first
Diego,
human we plugged.
We already
they're
plugged them.
playing. Well, we could do it again. We you know,
plug a Diego
choice.
part 2.
We got to plan it next time. But
I'm gonna
dude,
plug
Diego,
Dennis from Spawn and Retromorphosis.
There you
Plugging-
go.
Okay, right on.
Plugging Dennis. Love you, buddy.
Dennis Rondom.
I don't have a picture of Dennis, but I got a thumbs up.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like that. That's person of the day.
Person
Dennis.
of the day. Dennis. All right, and then we don't have anything else to plug, right? Merch is still something that we haven't talked about. We have it. We don't know how we're going to get it to you, but we'll let you know soon. I guess there's probably not going to be any fucking Black Friday sales over at CaliDeathPodcast.com or whatever the fuck our website is.
You know,
Going
when you
out
go
of
to like
business sale.
Amazon, it's like item not available, and you're like, oh man, like you like click on it, and it's like there's no like, I don't know. It's like
grab it on
like
Temu,
our
dude.
merch all the time. Yeah.
Make your own shirts on those websites where you can make your own shirts. Just make
Yeah,
one
and
with
just
Kelly Death
wear
Podcast.
them. Go to the mall and wear it.
Pick your own
Airbrush,
font.
Walmart.
Yeah, exactly.
Your local fucking
Panama
metal
City Beach
shows.
Walmart.
I'll say about the Retromorphosis stuff. There's a little something coming up soon. That's all I'm gonna say.
Some-
All right.
some fun
A
stuff.
little sweet treat.
Okay.
Check your emails. You never know what's gonna pop up. No, not email. Check. You know.
I guess if you're on a Retromorphosis email list, is that what you're talking about?
No, I was joking. No, I was just being
Oh.
silly. But just
Keep an eye on the internet. Retromorphosis is gonna
just keep
pop
your eye
up
on
pretty soon in
keep
your
your eye
algorithm.
on like Google, dude. It's gonna be headlines.
All right,
MSN.
let's get on to Lee plugs.
I don't have any plugs really. All I have to say is people keep listening or searching for Shamisen on Spotify because that goddamn band got a Shamisen is the first thing that pops up and people keep listening to it, and that's the
Nice.
most revenue I've ever seen from any band I've been in. So keep hitting those streams, y'all.
Nice. Fuck yeah.
Very interesting band. I mean, all the bands you're involved in are very interesting, but that was one that really, I mean, Estradasphere introduced me to that instrument.
Me too. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, what was his name? The guy who played
Kevin Metz.
Kevin, yes.
Kevin,
And which again, I'd love to talk to all the remaining members of Estradasphere too, because you guys just all have such colorful.
I can hook you up with
Aspect.
some of the dudes. We'll link up after this.
Hell yeah.
I still talk
That
to
would be
Shibble every
sick.
once in a while. And Adam
yeah.
Stacy, the guy that was playing accordion when I was
Is
in the band.
Tim still living in Europe?
Last time I talked to him was about 2 years ago, and I emailed
Really?
him to see what was up, and he was at his girlfriend's parents' estate in France.
Yeah, I heard it was
Jesus.
France.
He just goes wherever the wind takes him, man.
They're
He's wild.
fancy. That's a fancy man. That's basically whenever I think
one
of
of
him,
a
it's just fancy. Yeah. He's just.
One of a
I mean,
kind.
we've gone to his house for parties and stuff, and it was just fancy. There was like wine parties and stuff, and
And he
everyone got
made
naked.
violin sexy, dude. Like
He functions on the level of a superhero too, and that's no joke. That's no exaggeration. He's utterly insane.
That's
I'd
awesome.
love to talk to him. All right, we got to make this happen. All right, but this isn't about them right now. It's about you, dude. So hit up Shamisen
Yeah.
on.
How do you spell it? How do you
I'll
spell
put it in
Shamisen?
I'll put it in the Twitch shit.
Okay, but for the listeners,
SHAMIN. Wait, SHAMISEN.
Yeah, there you go. God of
S-H-A-
Shamisen is the band that I played in, and that's Shamisen right there. SHAMISEN.
So yeah,
I think it's the
that,
guru one from northern Japan.
let's get back to the instrument real quick. It's what is it, like a Japanese?
It's a
Or the origin?
three-string Japanese lute, which has like the body of a drum, kinda. It's got like a calf skin or goat skin or something. It's got this weird ass plectrum that you can play with it. It's
Like a
fucking-
ice
paint
shaper.
scraper,
Looks like-
a
yeah,
paint scraper kind of thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
yeah, and the way you hold it is like this.
Oh, that's
You have to,
right.
like,
I forgot about that.
Fish it through there. It's super uncomfortable looking, and there's nothing good
Oh,
about
weird.
it.
Fucking Kevin, man.
I mean,
That's
would
bad.
you compare it to like a a banjo, kind of.
It's like in the same family because it has the same twanginess to it, but
Right.
I don't know.
It's different.
And you've heard them your whole life, like hearing the shamisen and knowing what it was called. It's like, oh, that's what makes that noise, because you hear it like, like I don't want to do anything.
What? Yeah. Where's your? I was gonna say, where's your examples of this? I
like
don't fucking remember.
No, it's like Japanese shit. That's like
that's the dumb one, but yeah.
No, but it's like in movies and shit. Like you hear a shamisen like in movies, like
yeah.
I guess it was there, but I wasn't aware until I watched Stratosphere and heard Estradasphere and how it was incorporated.
Hell yeah. Well, we do have a track if you guys want to listen to it.
Yeah, let's start it off with the.
So
there you go.
Let me go grab a beer while
get the backstory real quick.
Oh yeah, go for it. Oh, you gonna grab something? You said.
I'm gonna go grab a beer.
Please
go
for
play
it,
that.
Yeah. Grab a beer.
Please do, dude.
We'll
I'll tell the backstory while you're grabbing your beer.
Up.
So basically, this track, I totally forgot about this track, and we were hanging out with Kevin. Like Kevin was coming over to like our house, like the furniture dome.
The shamisen player.
Yeah, he's super cool. Like, and so we were hanging out and just like chilling, and then like one time he just grabs this guitar and it starts playing like all these Yngwie Malmsteen songs. You remember that?
Oh, I know.
Like,
I remember that.
just like he could play like all the Yngwie Malmsteen songs, like no problem. Just like whatever, dude. Remember that, dude?
Oh yeah, Kevin is all about. He's like a guitar prodigy, and he moved to California a long time ago and studied at Cal Arts, and that's kind of where he met the Stratosphere dudes. He used to study with who's the dude's Henderson, the Tribal Tech dude.
Oh, okay, nice. Tribal Tech, yeah, crazy.
Cool. The guy's name. But yeah, Kevin's complete insane. He's brilliant on guitar, brilliant on shamisen. Good songwriter. Good homie.
You wouldn't think that it would be rare for somebody to start with shamisen.
He's from Japan.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, he's half Japanese. He was born on an Air Force base in Japan. I think that's where he's still living now. His father moved to Japan a long time ago and was like very pivotal in the water infrastructure in Japan.
Trip.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Wild.
I got to finally go to Japan like last year. It was pretty cool.
I've always wanted to go, but I don't think it'll happen. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a big trip, but man, it's if you ever get a chance to go, I had so much fun. It was amazing.
Right. I got homies there too, so even more reason.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, dude. So basically, Kevin rips, and I don't know how it all came about, Lee, but like you guys were doing like a recording in Santa Cruz. We were all living there at the time, and we somehow did a track or whatever. Like, what was it like? We were jamming, like, and this is like you like blasting and.
We just met up at the studio and then totally improv it.
Yeah,
just completely.
That's what I thought. It was all improv. Yeah, I was like, I don't think I wrote that. So it was like I played guitar and you played drums, and then later Kevin did the shamisen stuff over it.
Everything else was overlaid over me and you playing guitar. So everything else was arranged to just the jam, which is crazy.
What was that improv jam? Fuck yeah. I remember it's like on a farm, like some house.
Something Bear Studio. One of the guys that I met when I moved to Santa Cruz, dude's name Chris Parsons. He was a dude that was heavily involved in the Stratosphere, like back in the day, and he worked at the studio, and it was totally sick and right down the street.
It was sick. Cheap. Yeah, it was a nice studio. I thought it was really cool.
So what? It was just a dual guitar jam you guys were doing, and then
just me and Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Is this just freestyle though? You're saying, right?
100%. Just improv.
I guess.
That's awesome.
I was trying to remember. I was like, I mean, I remember like doing it or like recording it, but that's like it. I guess. Right. So I just remember it happened. I like didn't remember the track or where it was from or anything. So shout out to Tom Sundgren, our homie. I
see Tom's name.
Yeah, Tom's awesome. And so we were like talking like online, and he was like, "Yeah, I remember that track," and I was like, "Yeah, dude." Like, and he like found it for me, and I was like, "Oh shit, that track." So and then I was like, "Oh yeah, okay." Like I remembered it. It was really fun. So I have it to play. The thing I love about it is like Lee is like going off on the drums, like
He's trying to take attention off himself and the guitar.
What? No,
Pretty much.
I'm just messing around. Like, and the Shamisen shit is so cool, dude. But yeah, but dude, it's rad because like, I don't know, like we'll get into it all about like how Lee like blasts and plays really sick metal and did shit on Polarity and stuff like with the Death cover and all that. Anyways, the point is, I love how you blast on this shit. It's tight, dude. So, anyways, we're gonna play it real quick. Here's how it goes.
Sick, dude.
That's
Coffee
crazy.
and weed right there. Coffee and weed.
It's it's pretty awesome to hear how that instrument enhances metal when you listen. It works well with the basics of metal instruments, but it just adds like a nice layer to it that works with it.
Definitely.
Maybe is it like the clicky?
It's very percussive.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It adds like a percussive
totally
element.
A lot of attack on it for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's loud as hell in person too.
And very entertaining to see played in person too.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I love that breakdown part when it goes like down, 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 down.
It's crazy. They just organized all that over top of that jam too.
Yeah, dude. It's like,
Hand that to somebody and say, "Here you go."
I wonder if that for like songwriters, it is an easier thing for them to create a song if there is that improv layer that they have something to work off of already versus trying to make something from the ground up. You know,
Just a drummer. I don't know.
well, yeah, but I'm just saying that's just for me asking asking the question.
All right. So, I didn't mean to interrupt that.
No.
Interrupt.
Okay. All right. Here's the thing. All right. So I have a trajectory tonight, like that. I have like this thought that just okay, and then I don't want to like get in the way of anyone else's agenda, but I want Lee to go from the beginning and tell this whole story. But dude, Lee, you were the drummer to me, like that. Like I was like, how the fuck do you do that? Like
same with you
from the beginning. No, dude. Like no, but like
that's how it was.
Yeah, but like, but no,
but he can't take it, dude.
Listen, everybody needs to understand that, like, dude, from the like, we spent a lot of time hanging out in Santa Cruz. Like, you know, I was there, you were there, I was doing Decrepit, you were doing the Stratosphere. We hung out a lot, and you had your drum set here, mine there, whatever. We switched around and all this, but like, dude, like you would sit down and just play stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's how Sean Reiner does shit, or that's how like Vinny Colaiuta does shit. Like I was like, oh, like before I even like, and I'm not even still up to your like ability to do that stuff, but like you inspired me so heavily, dude, like 15 years ago.
Same.
That like, dude, like it, and later like studying and going to school and doing jazz shit, like, dude, like you were like the next to like my original drum teacher when I was in high school, Bill Ray, that we've had on, like you're like the other person that like influenced me to like actually be a drummer, like try to like think like like jazz influence and like shit outside of just being fast and all that shit. So Lee, like, dude, you're my homie, but like I have insane respect for you, dude. Like
you're too sweet, Casey. But honestly, when we were both out there, because I didn't know you had just gotten the Decrepit Birth gig, so we were literally in the same swimming pool. I imagine that you were just from Santa Cruz and been playing with Decrepit for a long time. I didn't know you just got that gig pretty much almost the same time that I got the Estradasphere gig.
Yeah.
So we were just two idiots that were stoked on each other, what they were doing, and kind of wished we were doing what the other person was doing.
Yeah, isn't that trippy? Yeah, it was like you can do what I can't do, and
I couldn't play that shit. I tried. All the Decrepit Nodia shit, I could not hang, man.
Yeah. We had a couple of odious rehearsals with you.
So, right? Yeah, we'll get into that. So we gotta just
let's get into stuff.
Let's. I want to hear about Lee and music and growing up and shit, dude. I'm really interested. So let's do it. Let's be chronological.
Anthony, go.
Anthony,
well, I think Lee probably knows what I'm going to ask him, but take us back in time, dude. Go back as far as you can with your connection with music or art or creativity. What's the earliest shit you could think of?
Well, I was born in Fremont in 1982, and a lot of people have the same thing, musical upbringing. My parents were always about playing music. I have vivid memories of hearing Frank Zappa and Led Zeppelin between 4 to 6 years old, living out there.
That's what your parents were playing, was Zappa and shit like that?
Yeah, the funny parts, not the parts, you know what I mean?
St. Alfonso's Pancake Breakfast.
Exactly. I Got a Crystal Ball, all that shit. So was raised on that kind of. And then my dad was actually a drummer. He used to play in like a top 40 band before he joined the Army.
Oh, shit.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
He was always, willing for racket to be around. So, memories of being a kid in California listening to Slippery When Wet. That was definitely the first record that nice. Said growing up was friggin' Bon Jovi.
Yeah. Little Jovi.
Bon Jovi. Yeah. So we rock that. And, all the stupid crap you listen to when you're a kid, MC Hammer, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But in 88, we moved to Georgia. My dad took a job and the whole family uprooted from Fremont to Roswell, Georgia. So I went from the whitest place in California to the whitest place in Georgia. But it was all for the better. It was a big change for us. We went from living in a tiny house in Fremont to a huge house in Roswell. And so, that happened. And then same thing. I have 2 older brothers as well who imprinted on me very hard at a young age, and very good influences, very good guys to be around. Still love them to death.
What are the age gaps?
So one brother is 2 years older than me, and the other one is 4 years older than me.
Okay.
And I'm 42 now, so it's 44 and 46.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, always had the big brothers to look up to and hang out with. And again, they were very pivotal in my life, very big imprinters. So we were always into the same music, give or take. Granted, they were a little bit older than me, so they had more influences at school and whatnot.
Yeah, but they get to go out and explore and find things and then bring it home to you.
Exactly. Meanwhile, I'm the goober just on the playground eating dirt. So things progress pretty quickly when you're young and rebellious. I remember appetite for destruction being a very big thing in the household, and that was very hesitantly let into the house because we were all raised Catholic, went to church every Sunday until I was like 14 years old. Bible school and everything. Not Catholic school, but Bible school one night a week or something. Which is kind of what pushed me to the taboo stuff. You know what I mean? Just like every other metalhead, you're going to resist and do the opposite of what you're told. So quickly progressed from there to the point to where my oldest brother, Graham, he's a little sneakier, a little more intelligent, still is. Had one of those order forms. What was it, like whatever thing it was where you could like send in $5 and get 3 cassettes or something like that?
Yeah.
I forget what service that was.
Columbia House,
yeah.
Yep.
So we basically just had free reign back then because there's no age check on that. You just send them a check and they send you tapes.
Yeah.
So we started getting a little heavier. I can still remember when we got Vulgar Display of Power on cassette.
Yeah, damn.
That was like hidden in a shoebox in the deepest depths of the brother's closet to not be found by the parents. It was
That's
that
so
kind of a deal.
crazy.
And it just went from there. Like Rage Against the Machine. When all these albums first came out, for that matter, we were getting them.
Damn.
So we were like,
it's funny to think about a Catholic upbringing, because I mean I was baptized and all that shit. We went to church every now and then, but I think it was mostly for my dad's parents. I don't think my parents really, were Bible readers or anything like that. But I think of like those households where you would have to hide your metal and your porn in the same spot.
Yep, you had one place, and it kept getting caught, so you had to keep rotating where it was. So, but yeah,
because
very
Catholic
very
mom
similar.
cleaning up your room or going through your room. Is that what it was?
Not all the time, but yeah.
Yeah.
You get busted with some stuff one time, and then it keeps happening until you're 18. So,
Dude. Did
my parents
they
are
ever
very-
find some metal? Did they ever find? What did they find?
by the time I had taboo stuff, it was kind of okay, but I still didn't let them see my Deicide albums. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
That's a little much.
Yeah. If my mom saw Once Upon the Cross, she
Dude.
would not have been happy.
I feel like, okay, so I want to interject real fast. Like I kind of feel like these days, like with like streaming and things like that, I wonder if the parents have like no idea what the kids are listening to.
Yeah,
like,
for
just,
sure.
I mean, there's parental
they can
controls.
find it, whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
Like
We found it, and we didn't have the internet. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've told the story before on this, but like, dude, I got like one of those like my mom was like, yeah, we got like some extra publisher's house, whatever, fucking like, you want to get some CDs? And I'm like in high school, and I'm like, cool. And I like look, and I'm like, damn, they got fucking metal. They got like Deicide and Cannibal Corpse and shit. And I'm like, cool. And I got like Tomb of the Mutilated, Butchered at Birth, like all the like Deicide Legion, like, and it was like the new one, like six or the with like the sixes that were like
Incinerate him.
Yeah,
Incinerate him. Yeah.
All
And
really
then
good
like,
stuff.
and so like
Bible
all
bashing.
of a sudden I get home from like school and like or whatever it was, and I'm like, I don't know, 15 or something, or 16, and my parents are just like, oh, we want to come talk to us, please. Like, come, pull me this room, and they're like, well, so we received this order. It was like Britney Spears and all this shit, my sister, and all these CDs, and it was like all these, like I just mentioned, CDs. And so they're like, my dad literally like turned the CD like Legion over, and he was like, Satan spawned the cock demon, like read it to me, just like,
yeah,
like, son, like, is this like what is going on here? Like, what? And look at it, like, dude, look at it, fucking Butchered at Birth and Tomb of the Mutilated, like,
yeah.
Like my parents, and they're just like,
explaining that.
Are you okay? Like, what's going on?
That's fine.
And I was just like, it's just art. Like, I'm not like, like, it's just like, I thought it's like a horror movie, kind of thing. And they're just like,
I didn't have that explanation for the horror movie thing early enough, because that's exactly that's the best explanation. It's like, you watch horror movies, like,
I mean, I was laughing and telling them, like, dude, like, no, I'm not into like Satan, like, like, I was like, it's just like funny, like, I don't know. And they're just like, okay, don't let your sister see them. God damn it. They're just like,
oh, so you got to keep them. Nice.
Oh, damn. Nice. You had a court hearing. You had a parental court hearing where they're like, all right, so this is the charges against you.
Yeah.
You got to defend yourself.
I got let off easy.
Yeah.
It is hard to explain Tomb of the Mutilated to your parents.
Oh yeah, I took the high road. I just made sure that shit didn't happen. You know what I mean? I was very
real, no justification. Like you can't be like, it's I mean, it's an art piece, but you can't tell your parents that when you're a fucking teenager.
Yeah.
And like they're like thinking of like Beach Boys, or like, they just look down, they're just like, see like Tomb of the Mutilated, they're like
the weird MC Hammer record.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So yeah, same thing. Just getting all that in the door.
Yeah.
Always
so then
on Saturday night to watch Headbangers Ball with the brothers.
Yeah, that's
always.
usually
And that's kind of where it led to the extreme stuff, honestly.
Yeah, so you guys kind of all found it together through Headbangers Ball?
Definitely. I could still remember the first time I saw the music video for Rapture by Morbid Angel.
Yep.
Mm.
That was kind of what fucked my whole life up pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You see that video, it's heavy as hell. The kick drums are just going faster than you've ever heard in your life.
Were you playing drums at this point yet? Were drums kind of important to you? I mean, because your dad was playing drums, but were you like listening to Rapture and being like, shit, I just started and that's what the fuck is that guy doing?
I'd have to look, when did Covenant come out? Because
Because
my oldest brother Graham, he got a drum set early on. When did that album come out? 93. So yeah, that means Graham would have been, I was 11 at that point. So Graham was like old enough to start working, give or take, because we all started working when we were like 14. You know, get a summer job or whatever you could do. So my oldest brother Graham had a homie, this guy we call Savage Joe, Chief Savage Joe, and he was a drummer and he was really good, and he was a left-handed drummer. And he had an extra drum set, so he sold it to my brother Graham. And it was a huge Slingerland kit, like piano black Slingerland, 3 rack toms, 2 floor toms, 4 kick drums, just Bonanza, like Alex Van Halen Bonanza kit.
Jesus.
And so we had that set up in the basement. And given that my dad was a drummer, he kind of helped us set it up so we weren't, playing with like flat tom angles, like Lars.
Teach you how to tune it and all that shit.
Exactly. So we, we had something to make noise with, and parents were very forgiving. So we just had this huge drum set in the basement, and I can still remember, like, I think my first actual, like, realizing I could play something was "You Could Be Mine" by Guns N' Roses.
Nice.
I remember hearing the intro for that song because it's, your classic shit-eating Matt Sorum.
Yeah.
Tennis toms. Yeah, totally. You just hit yourself in the face with a stick. So I remember like hearing that and knowing the voices, because at that point I've held drumsticks, I've touched drums, so I could put together which voices were making what noises. So that kind of is what got me to be able to like play beats and whatnot, because there's nobody, like my dad would come down and like teach us how to play beats, like Cream songs and shit like that.
What's your middle brother's name?
Jesse, otherwise known as Gentleman Jesse in Atlanta. If you're from Atlanta, you know who Gentleman Jesse is. Was
Gentleman Jesse also involved in the drum kit?
So Jesse took the other end. He started playing guitar because he was totally in love with like Alice in Chains and that kind of ilk. So he started playing guitar and he started taking lessons, but he pretty much self-taught himself. He would just learn songs and learn where the notes are, which sounds like utter hell. Drums, you just hear something, you say that goes there, hit that, boom chaka. That's pretty much it. So we had 2 musicians in the house at the same time that were learning at the same time, pretty much. So I was not taking any lessons. I was just in the basement, being a nuisance. And then
was your dad still playing at the time too?
Yeah, he'd come down and bang on the kit, like.
But that was the only kit in the house. He didn't have his own kit somewhere.
No, he didn't. He didn't have a kit for years until my brother bought that kit, which is, I'm pretty sure, why that kit ended up getting bought, because my dad wouldn't hate the idea of having some skins and tins around.
Did you mention if your mom was musical at all?
We always had a 12-string acoustic guitar in the house growing up. My mom used to play acoustic guitar at church, apparently. But that was, eons ago, when she was, before children ravaged her life. So, yeah, like a musical house. Nobody hated hearing music, but having 2 kids learning how to play drums in your basement,
oh dude,
it sounds like torture. I wouldn't make it. I would just tell them to stop and stay in school. So yeah, very nurturing household to grow up in. Nobody complained about noise. I mean, there's a few times where they'd come to the top of the basement stairs and flash the lights or something, just to
be like, "All right, it's done for tonight." We got a phone
call or something,
Yeah.
Damn.
So it quickly snowballed from there to the point where me and my brother were jamming all the time, and music progressed pretty quickly at that point. We started getting into a lot of punk rock and power rock and stuff like that. So by the time we actually started learning how to cover songs, it was, hardcore punk rock stuff like, Minor Threat, Bad Brains, Avail, stuff like that. So my first CD was actually the Minor Threat discography.
Oh shit!
And if you've ever listened to Minor Threat, especially in like 94, 95, it's pretty blazing fast and punishing. And
Right.
so that was my first real take on playing drums, which is just faster, more. And as any drummer that, slowly progresses into metal, it just snowballs from there.
Totally.
So punk rock led to a lot of stuff and a lot of crazy opportunities in the mid 90s, given that I had 2 older brothers, and we started playing in bands. And actually, my brother Jesse, his first band was this punk rock band. I forget what they were called, but they played a show, and they actually had me come up on stage as a surprise to play a song with them, because their drummer couldn't play this 7-second song, which I was very privy to at the time. So he called me up in the middle of the show, and my heart was busting out my throat. Got up and played that song for like 1:45 or whatever.
How old were you?
Probably like 13 or 14.
Yeah.
And, it was great. And like I said, that's one of those moments where my brother imprinted on me super hard, because that band kind of fizzled out, as they would when you're a teenager. You get together, you work all summer, you play a show, and then kind of don't talk to each other. It's happened to me multiple times with bands. So my brother basically said after that happened, he's like, well, this other drummer's crazy. Why don't you just play with me? So
were you a fan of your brother's the band too, or were you
I was sitting in the basement watching them rehearse every day.
Dude, there's something about sitting with a band and while they rehearse, and I mean, I could say Severed Savior is one of them, being just a fan of the band and sharing a drummer, but being able to sit and watch them rehearse. That's what made me like truly fall in love with the band, was seeing it in person as much as I did. And obviously with you and you're being your bigger brother that you already idolize, it sounds like at this time,
Oh, it was
huge. Like, I would probably, I was my younger brother's number one fan for Remorseless. I loved watching Remorseless play. Something about seeing your bro up there doing something, you're like, fuck yeah, dude. That's my brother up there.
Exactly. And then for him to turn around right after that and say, hey, you're in the band now. So, and it led to that, to the point where we were playing house shows all over the place. Like show up at someone's house and there's 9 bands playing on someone's back deck all day.
Were you guys doing originals, covers?
Yeah, we had a band, and we were playing a bunch of originals that my brother wrote that were, what you write when you're 15 or 16 years old. So yeah, we did that, and it quickly just turned into me playing all the time. At one point when I was in middle school, I think I was in 3 bands or something.
Sick.
I'd get off the middle school bus and there'd be a bunch of guys hanging out in my cul-de-sac smoking cigarettes, waiting for me to get off the bus so we could start having band practice.
Trip.
Pretty weird.
A young Gabe Sieber.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it quickly turned into me just like, I guess, kind of inheriting the all these gigs, and I guess in turn, the most used drummer in my county at that point for a summer or two.
It doesn't matter where you're at. It's just drummers are more rare, I guess, especially in death metal, dude. And that's why everything gets so incestuous, is because it's hard to find a drummer. So when you find one, and even though they're playing with other bands, they're still willing to work with you. You're like, fuck yeah, dude, we got this guy.
Oh yeah, that's great.
And to have a sick drummer is like the main foundation of that, gives you like more confidence as a band. Said drummers ain't loyal.
Someone just said in the chat,
they have a very polyamorous way of with their bands, dude.
So many different, because it's a relationship being in a band, so it's like when you have a drummer that's in 4 different bands, and you're just like you're just a stop for the drummer. Like the drummer goes, he's like, all right, let's do this. It's like kind of like a gigolo. It's like, all right,
member of the band for sure.
It's the sugar daddy. It's going like, you want some beats, dude? I'll give you some beats. All right, I'm out of here. And everyone's just like, that was sick. And he's like, all right, next one. Let's go to the next one. Fuck you guys. It kind of feels like that a little bit, but I don't know.
So yeah, that was a lot of it for me right there. So playing in bands, and then eventually started getting into some heavier stuff. I think by the time I was 15, 15 going on 16, I was playing in a pretty, for me, extreme metal band.
Mhm.
It was called 5 Year Wait. And that was like the summer of my life where we just would drive around in Buddy's car and listen to Deicide and Dying Fetus and try to play like that. We actually opened for Dying Fetus once.
Oh, damn.
Way back in the day at the Somber Reptile here in Marietta.
Somber Reptile.
The Somber Shit Pile, as we call it. So yeah, I started getting into extreme stuff because, like I said earlier, you hear something fast, and you can't just get on the computer and see how it's done. So you buy the records and you listen to them over and over.
Yeah, exactly. I had a quick question for Anthony. So, what do you think about? I'm sorry, that was a piss break. But no, yeah, I mean, my joke immediately when you said your band name was Five Toed Death Kick. But just imagine if you had that band name like way before that, Five Finger Death Punch. You're like, dude, we're Five Toed Death Kick, dude. Fucking coming from Atlanta, fucking we got the shit, and then you just fall apart, and they're like, one of those members like loves your shit. It's like, dude,
check it out, man.
I don't know. Just a random what if,
Okay, it's just the two of us for a second.
No,
it was just two pussies.
He's still listening though.
Oh yeah, he's listening.
How's it going there?
Hey Casey, how you doing, dude?
Like I said, dude, push hard.
Push
really hard.
Well, not you don't. We're getting older. You don't want
to. Don't put that propaganda out there. Don't push. Just let it happen.
Yeah, I don't want to prolapse.
No, dude, you guys don't even know, dude. You should always push as hard as you can, dude.
That
Hashtag piss stream.
Hashtag hemorrhoid.
Hell yeah.
All right.
That's so, a good band, right?
But metal was really the first type of music you fell in love with.
Yeah, because it was like a blow ring out.
Yeah, that's my whole point. Is why I say
yeah. Again, growing up in a Catholic household, it was very taboo, and I was also at that point getting into horror and stuff, so it had like that same
horror. By the way, not no horror.
Horror.
I'm getting into horror. I was getting into horror. I was getting into horror. I was really into like the horror was my favorite kind of movies back in the day.
No, I had like one weekend when I was growing up where a buddy of mine spent the night and we rented Evil Dead 2, and I think I watched that movie like 17 times that weekend.
Just you watched Evil Dead 2 was your first, and then you went back to Evil Dead original.
For those, yeah.
Which
is quite a jump because it's the same movie.
I know, that's what I was gonna say. It's like it's weird how they revisit it.
That was a good joke.
So yeah, progressed from there, and like I said, by the time I was 15 or 16, I was playing in a band, so we were playing blast beats. It was kind of like blackened death metal, if you had to classify it these days, but back then that wasn't a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we played a little bit, played some shows, and then, like I mentioned earlier, one show you play, you just never call each other again. It's not how that ended up back in the day. I don't know, but it happened. And then I had another group of friends that were in a band, this band called Sinosure. And long story with that, but a good buddy of mine was the vocalist for that band. They had two vocalists actually, and he was one of the vocalists, and their drummer sucked. He was a great dude, but he sucked. And then shortly thereafter, one of my buddies that was the vocalist, he got shot in the face and died.
Oh, fuck.
Jesus. It was really awful.
I was taking a sip right there. Jesus.
But that was when I was like,
that was a fucking hard left turn right there.
Yeah, it was, and it sucked. It still sucks.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
But I was 17 years old, and then
was he like mixed up in some dirty shit, obviously, or was it just like he was in the wrong place at the wrong time?
Wrong place, wrong time, 100%. He went skateboarding in downtown Atlanta by himself at like 3 a.m. in a bad neighborhood, and some guy shot him in his face and stole his wallet. Just tragic. But he was a little bit older, so he was out of high school at that point, and he wasn't going to school or anything, and he was going through a trip too. Just finding out who you are at that point in time, finding your purpose. So that all went down, and then at that point, the guys in that band kind of approached me and said, "Do you want to play drums?" And I'm like, "Yeah." After Jeff passed away, absolutely. I mean, I wanted to while he was still alive, but yeah, let's do this. It seems like the natural thing to do because that's what he would have wanted moreover. So played with them for a long time, and that was up until the time when I got out of high school. So Started going to community college, hated it, and then
Did you do any recording with those bands?
We did cut a record. We cut a record at who's the guy? What was that horrible band from the '90s, like the Marvelous Three or something? The
Maroon 5?
No,
Oh.
I'd have to look it up. But yeah, we ended up recording at his
Maroon
recording
6.
studio.
Sorry.
So I heard every word with these.
Sorry.
I know. Well, no,
I heard every word.
Were you pushing?
I was not pushing, but I heard you guys talking about it. I heard every word.
Talking about your pee?
Reef said blow a ring out, dude.
This Bluetooth
Jesus,
is
we're talking about like the tragic death of his friend. We're like, dude, what about shitting, dude? You shit all good?
Shit's tight, man.
Dude, actually, yeah. I just realized how insensitive that was. I apologize.
That's whatever. It was so long ago. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's Anthony though for you. So.
Conversationally punctual.
Mm.
So yeah, I did that, and at that point, I started going to school for drums. I started going to the Atlanta Institute of Music in like 2002.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember you telling me about that.
Yep.
Awesome.
Me too. Yep.
So I studied there hard for a year because it was basically like a program where you could go part-time or full-time or at any pace you wanted, and I just stuck it out and went full-time because my folks were like, if you're going to put all your eggs in this basket, we'll float you until you get out, and then once you get out, you got to start working. And so it was a year-long program. It was pretty intense. I think for that year I was playing drums every week for about 70 hours a week, studying under the professors there. One of them is this dude Tom Knight, who played drums for TLC. He's awesome guy. Still talk to him every now and then. So did that, and at that point I started hanging out with a few friends who had lost touch with one of my favorite humans on the world. This guy Josh Coleman, very big influence on my life. He was to go back earlier, the guy that sold my brother his first drum set, Chief Savage Joe. He was in a band with this guy Josh Coleman called like Greener Than Lou, and it was those guys were very heavily Mr. Bungle and the Residents influenced. So really weird shit. Especially
what was the name of it?
The band was called Greener Than Lou, like Lou Ferrigno, the guy that played the Hulk.
Greener Than Lou.
So you'll never find anything from them.
Really?
It was mid-90s, high school band, post-high school band for them.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, this guy that played guitar in that band, his name's Josh Coleman. He was one of my idols growing up because he was just freaking cool, and he was really into bungle and really weird shit. And somehow, when I got out of high school, we started running in the same circle. So when I got out of high school, I was best friends with a guy that I met in kindergarten. The first day I moved to Georgia and went to school, I met this dude, and we were best friends up until we were 20 years old.
Damn.
So when we graduated high school, his parents were like, we're moving to a cabin in the mountains. You take the house.
Whoa.
So I moved into his house at 18 years old, and it was insane. It was just the two of us living in this tiny house, raising hell.
Yeah, I bet, dude.
Skateboarding, drinking, smoking, the whole nine. So my buddy Josh started hanging out with us, and he would bring over really weird shit. That's the first time I heard Secret Chiefs 3, because I'd already been listening to bungle. I was really into bungle.
Real quick, side note: what was your first? Can you remember your first bungle experience? Like, when did you first hear him?
It was the first album, because my older brother Graham had the record, and so I remember hearing the first album front to back one day, and it was just weird as shit.
Is that with the clown on it?
Yeah. It's like kind of rapcore-y, but it's still.
But still, that album cover would definitely catch my eye if I was flipping through records.
Is Disco Volante after that one, or
that's the second one, and that's the one that really got me.
And then California.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think California. Yeah, Disco Volante, dude. I used to have a cassette tape of a live performance of the Disco Volante shit, like back in those days, and we'd put it on like
oh yeah, same.
That would be. I would say that album is them, really expanding their boundaries as much as they can. But I also, the first one's great. California as an overall release, dude. It's from front to back. It's so perfect to me.
The lyrics on that album too.
It's so
dude.
It's nuts. The lyrics on none of them knew they were robots. If you read that, it's fucking stupid. So yeah, kind of was into that all the while. I can still remember the week that I heard Disco Volante. I remember hearing Desert Search for Techno Allah on the radio, and I think it was like while we were in the car going to like Media Player or some shit. So we went straight there and bought that record or something, and it was fucked.
So Lee, there's a story I always tell, and you've probably heard me tell it, but we were living together. So me and Lee lived together for, what was it, 4 years? It
was like 2 years, maybe
2 years,
something like that.
But didn't Trey come to our house from Mr. Bungle?
I don't know. I don't remember.
You're the one that
might have been a time where I brought him.
You were like, it's Trey from Mr. Bungle, and he was at the house for maybe 7 minutes. But he was like hanging out, and you're like, "That's Trey," and then you guys went somewhere or something, or someone. I forget what happened, but
I just had to
remember they were, "That's Trey," and it's
show off a little bit.
You're all, dude. I got him, dude. Here he is, dude. Check it out.
Look at this, man.
All right, take off.
So yeah,
I tell that story to people that I've met him, and he hung out at my house. So if that's not true, then I just want to make sure that I'm telling a real story.
Hilarious if it was just like a lucid dream you had one time.
I know. I'm like, dude, he was there, dude, and
he was
Patton showed up and like did a backflip and high fived me, and then like we just left. Dude. It was
flew off.
He flew off. He jumped off the balcony and like
flew off to Wizard Prison in the mountains. Fucking tree wizard makes an appearance. I was like, all right. So yeah, you're fine. Always a big influence. Mr. Bungle was always in the back, and then once I heard Secret Chiefs 3, it was twice as worse. So same guy that showed me Secret Chiefs showed me Estradasphere, and I have also very vivid memories of listening to Mr. Bungle, or not Mr. Bungle, Secret Chiefs and Estradasphere on 9/11, because what was it, Book M and Buck Fever came out on 9/11, right?
Oh, Jesus, crazy, dude.
So yeah, that whole time period was just going hard on Estradasphere. And
yeah, Book M and Buck Fever were both my firsts for those bands as well.
Well, I had listened to It's Understood before, but like I remember the distance between when I first heard It's Understood and Buck Fever coming out was very small. Months, maybe half a year. And I was
think It's Understood would be a worse title to come out on 9/11 than Buck Fever. Because Slayer actually released God Hates Us All on 9/11 as well. And I remember and Dream Theater released a album that like had the Twin Towers like burning behind like a live album that was like the Twin Towers like on fire.
And it came out on 9/11?
9/11, yeah, and they had to take it down, rip it all down.
That's total proof it's a simulation right there.
Yeah, dude.
That's some sloppy coding right there. What the hell?
Sloppy coding.
What the fuck? By the way, dude, the fucking Silent Elk song on Buck Fever is just the greatest.
He texted me about it today. Casey texted me about it. He's all, dude.
I was listening to it on my drive home from work, and I was just like, yes. This. I was trying to
remember the guitar solo when the double kick kicks in.
Oh, dude.
I remember being at my house and being like, these guys can do whatever they want. It's insane.
I prefer Dapper Bandits off that album. I think that
they're all great songs.
I mean, I love all of them. Yeah, but I would say that's probably my number one pick for that album. Then I forget what track's the one with the meditation.
B.
That's great.
B is for Bud. Yeah. Weird shit.
Breathe they were all in and in and in.
So yeah.
And
feel the growing inside you. Yeah. It's just that album. I mean,
or you're hearing somebody playing a Nintendo game and they pause to eat a fucking chip.
Yeah. Well, what's funny about that meditation section is if you listen close enough, there's a recording of Tim Smollins jerking off with Vaseline loudly in the background.
What?
Yeah, I got some deep Estradasphere lore back here.
Dude, that's super. What would you call that?
Gross?
Sexual?
Yeah. But I don't know.
Subliminal message.
Some artists could explain it better than me. Like,
it's just those guys being animals. I mean, I can only imagine what it was like to be a fly on the wall at the 911 Mission Street house at that time. I don't know the name of the track. It's the one with the meditation section on.
I'll figure it out.
Listen to the whole album. Just put the album on.
Totally listen to every album by that band. But there was this comedic aspect to that band throughout the discography until Palace of Mirrors.
It was still just hilarious, that album too. But like you said, there was a lot of tongue-in-cheekness to that band, which is why I loved it so much.
And there is quirky aspects to Palace of Mirrors. Don't get me wrong, but there was this maturity, I think, that kind of happened between that album and the last album.
100%.
You know, and also not just maturity as in, you know, content, but maturity as musicians too.
The
like
production,
the songwriting.
everything.
We're skipping over a bunch of stuff. This is like one of my favorite albums of all time, so we should.
All right, let's back it up.
Oh, yeah, so any hoozle. Don't interrupt me. No, I'm kidding.
No, dude, we have to take you into the weeds every now and then.
Right.
That's how the show goes.
I want the weeds. So was playing in a bunch of bands, started going to music school, got really into Estradasphere and stuff, and you know, I'd always joke with my buddy, being like, "God, this shit's crazy. I can never play that." And he's like, "Yeah, you could. You sure could. You just got to play it. You just got to learn it and play it." And I'm like, "Yeah, right. Hunger Strike's like a 20-minute long song. That's insane. The first song on the first record you hear is a 20-minute song." So it kind of just kept being in the back of my mind that whole time. And Estradasphere kept having drummer problems because after Buck Fever, Dave Murray, the drummer, not the guitar player for Iron Maiden, kind of quit the band. So the next album, Quadrupus, had like 3 drummers on it. It had Dave Murray, it had Theo Morday on it, and John Merriman from Cephalic Carnage.
Yeah.
So,
and there's actually, you could, now that we're mentioning this real quick, you could, that is that maturity bridge, because it was the bridge album to Palace of Mirrors for me. There was something happening, bubbling up in the group with that album, I thought too.
Well, here's the funny part.
The Palace of Mirrors.
All through Quadrupus, I mean, since I got in the band after that record, there was kind of like, you know, a turmoil in the band.
Yeah.
You know, you're in a band long enough, you're not going to get along with people. That's just how it goes. But totally. I can remember like the Hunger for Life DVD, if you've ever seen that. I'm sure you have, Anthony.
I do. I love having a physical copy.
It's fun to watch too. But there's one clip of a live show where Smolens is playing upright bass, and they're playing a song, and then it breaks to the bass solo, and the whole band stops, but the crowd is still clapping 2 and 4. And eventually the crowd does what they do, and they get off time. So what does Smolens do? He stops playing, and he just says, "God damn it, you people!" And then John Woolley, the sax player, who's basically Snuffleupagus, comes over and is like, "Whoa, man, don't take it out on the people." So that was kind of, you know, kind of staged, but kind of real at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
So a lot of shit went down with Estradasphere at that point. I think after Quadrupus, John Woolley left the band, which to me as a fan was a huge blow. Because that guy's nuts. The best saxophone player I've ever played with. He was a
saxophone player, yeah.
Great singer. And he left the band to go on the... he started a group with his wife. And they went on the campaign trail for Dennis Kucinich, doing like loop keyboard songs. They had a song about Dennis Kucinich.
Find your niche, dude. Dennis Kucinich.
He found it. Love John. His wife Mariah was super sweet too, but like to see that guy leave Estradasphere to do that was like, you know, fuck. Yeah. What could I have done better as a fan to make that guy stay? You know, those kind of feelings. So at that point, you know, it's still in the back of my head to like try out for this band. And I remember at one point when I was living at my buddy's house when I was 19 or 20, it was back in the day you could go on the Estradasphere website on the message board, and they actually had like their phone number for the 911 house, 911 Mission Street, or 1119 Mission Street, I think it was, posted on their website. So I just fucking called it one day, and Tim answered the phone.
Wow.
We started talking. You know, I'm a kid. I'm like, yeah, you know, I know you guys are having drummer problems. I'd really like to send you a demo or something. And he's, you know, he talked to me for probably 10 to 20 minutes or something.
That's some 90s shit.
Yeah,
you know,
for real.
We've heard, you know, guys from the generations before us talk about how that was the thing. You just put up your phone number because there's no other way to contact.
Yeah.
You know, you want to go snail mail, it'll happen, but it takes longer. If you want to get in touch, it's a phone number and
Right.
one line.
Yep. It's wild to think about. So yeah, I talked to Tim at that point, and I wasn't like too serious at that point, but you know, still a trip to talk to him, and you know, just to say, hey, you can actually reach out and talk to this fool.
And you were still in Georgia?
Yeah, Roswell, Georgia, down the street from where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, you know, an utter pipe dream at that point.
Right.
So you know, finished music school. Was still playing in like 3 bands, something ridiculous, and I think 2 of those bands ended up, you know, dissolving the way they do. Like I mentioned, you know, you lose contact, you play some shows. Everyone's growing up, everyone's, you know, going to college or moving out of town. So eventually, I you know, got pretty serious about it, and I think I like moved back into my parents' house for like 6 months, and just did nothing but play Jedi Academy and play the drums and work at Subway. So all I was doing was just trying to get serious about doing this. And then eventually I was on the Estradasphere message board at that time, the forum. So, you know, it was a small community at that point, just a bunch of nerds like me on a internet forum in the early 2000s. So eventually it got pretty serious. And then I, you know, mentioned that I would want to try out for the band, and decided to buy a plane ticket and fly out to Santa Cruz and audition in person rather than sending, you know, CDs, whatever, which I did prior to going out there. So yeah, I bought a plane ticket. I think it was probably like 2003, something like that.
Nice.
2003, early 2004. Printed out MapQuest directions from the San Jose airport to get to 2643 Old San Jose Road in
nice
in Santa Cruz. Went out there, got lost, stopped at a gas station right down the street from the Estradasphere studio, and called Kevin because he was more in contact with me than ever. Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, I was the only drummer on Palace of Mirrors. Yes, sir. Sorry, looking at chat. Bad with chat.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, just me. So yeah, got the directions to go out there, and I just went out there with a pair of drumsticks, and that's it, because they had a drum set at the studio that I could use. So at that point, Kevin Metz was living at the Estradasphere studio, which is basically a garage house at a horse farm in SoCal.
I don't know why that sounds funny. Sorry.
It was funny. It was awesome.
Garage house at horse farm.
Yeah, it was literally a garage house that had like the center room where the garage door would open was finished with extra insulation, so you could jam there all day, all night.
You say the funniest shit sometimes. I'm just letting you know. Like you like a garage house at a horse farm could be a band's name. Like that's like a. That's literally. I don't know, anyways, keep going.
Or at least like a grind band song name or something.
I love it, dude. Lee brings the southern charm to like Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
Good.
Atlanta.
Southern stupidity. So yeah, I went out there and I auditioned, and I met up with Kevin before because Kevin was living at the farm where the studio was. So I just planned to go out there, hang out for a day or two, and crash at the Estradasphere studio, the rehearsal studio, which I did. So the first person I met in person was Kevin, the shamisen player. And he was already in Estradasphere at that point, playing shamisen and guitar. And gnarly player. So I show up, and he's stoked on me being there. He's really stoked on me being there because he'd listened to some of the stuff I sent. He's like, "Oh, you play some metal? I got an idea for this metal band featuring this shamisen that I've been playing." And I'm like, "Okay." So we just started jamming, and that's kind of where God of Shamisen was born, right there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He'd never played with a drummer that could play, you know, a little more aggressive, so to speak.
Awesome.
So we did that. We jammed out for a couple hours, and then the Estradasphere guys slowly started funneling in. And you know, I'd talked to a few of these guys in passing on the internet, Adam and Kevin mainly, because they were active on the message boards. But the core guys, Tim, Timba, and Jason, were, you know, elusive. So went out there. I had rehearsed pretty well on my own for what I could at that point, because it was just, you know, listening to a CD, rewinding it, listening to it, rewinding it. No computer program to aid me in learning the tunes, but
were these just demos of Palace songs, or were you learning playing older songs that they already had?
Older Estradasphere catalog stuff like Meteorite Showers, you Dapper Bandits, just like a few songs throughout the catalog to see what I could do,
Totally.
Dapper Bandits, dude.
And yeah, it went pretty well. I mean, I remember a couple of the guys being pretty, go either way with it, because a drummer's a drummer. But I was fully invested at that point. I was like, I'll pack up all my shit in a U-Haul and I'll be out here in a couple months.
Yeah.
And they kind of liked the idea of having someone that was really young too, because I think I was like 6 to 7, maybe even 8 years younger than them at that time, at least 5.
Yeah.
So a lot younger.
Adding some young blood.
Exactly. And I hadn't studied.
Like they were all like Santa Cruz graduates or whatever.
Yeah, Tim went to UCSC, majored in violin and minored in trumpet, and that's why.
Yeah, what's the bass player from Intronaut? Joe Lester.
Joe Lester.
Yeah.
When he was on the pod, he was talking about how he got to see Estradasphere just like jamming in like the mess hall or whatever, where you guys were all the students were eating, just like fucking Estradasphere just jamming in there, just like
those again crazy. To be a fly on the wall.
Yeah, right.
See that kind of shit happen back then, but those guys were like very jazz intensive. Like I remember Jason Schimmel met Dave Murray at like Cabrillo, who's the dude that taught there, the jazz instructor.
Ray Brown.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they had all been studying jazz stuff. I'm pretty sure Tim did too. That's actually where the Super Mario jazz medley came from Estradasphere. I think he did that as a piece for that dude's class.
Wow.
Okay. Damn.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Yeah. So those dudes were way more advanced in jazz than I was, admittedly. And but they took me as a young kid that they could mold and run with. And
were you a fan of jazz music before though?
Yeah, I just couldn't swing worth shit.
Was that the guy?
Yeah.
That was Dennis Kucinich. Dude, that name just
Dennis Kucinich.
I was like, I don't even know.
Dennis Kucinich is the man with world peace as his master plan.
So funny.
Those are legit lyrics from
sounded legit as fuck, dude.
Fuck.
So yeah, I had a lot of pros and a lot of cons. I could emulate a lot of stuff that I heard, but as far as like playing jazz to their level, because I'd studied jazz at the Atlanta Institute of Music, like book reading jazz, not like out there in the shit playing with people trading bars.
Yeah.
Very, very concise and no freedom to it, which is completely opposite of what playing jazz
Whiplash
is.
or something.
Nah.
Yeah, it is. You make a great point, dude. Like the hands-on versus book type shit. Like it'd be hard to emulate what jazz is in words because it's a feel thing,
Exactly. And at that point I had like I treated it more like a rudiment where I'm just repeating things that I've read from a book a million times. There's no soul to it, You're not reacting to the music, you're just playing you're just running through figure 8, figure 7, figure 17, whatever. So that was kind of my my Achilles heel for playing in Estradasphere.
Yeah.
But they definitely put me into it pretty hard. Of course, I still couldn't hang on their level. But a lot of days practicing all day, pretty much. I had like a regiment where I'd show up to the studio in the morning and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, audition went well. Let's go back a little bit. Audition went well. They told me to move out there. I did it. I packed up all my shit, moved to Santa Cruz. The plan was to live in the garage house at the horse farm because they were taking over another wing of the horse farm, which had like a room in the back that was basically a closet. Building had running water in one side of it. So I get out there. My dad drove with me too. My dad was huge in all this. We drove to California. I'm expecting to unload all my shit into this room that I'm going to live in, which is part of the Estradasphere studio. Nothing was done. It was bare framed walls. There was no way I'm moving in there. So what does my dad do? He just looks at it and says, what do we need to do? So we insulated the room that I was going to sleep in. We're on a ladder, stapling insulation to the ceiling.
Awesome.
Finishing drywall. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the Estradasphere studio kind of got built right when I moved out there.
Savage dad, dude.
That's
a gangster.
Still is.
That's a gangster move.
He fucking left me there too. We eventually we got to the point where we could unload the truck, and So for the first like 2 months that I was living there, there's just mad construction going on to make the Palace of Mirrors era recording studio, which we did, and it worked out. So I was living at the studio. I was paying $300 a month to live in a closet in Santa Cruz.
That's a deal.
Yeah, I ate a burrito once a day, and
that was back before that was cool.
Dude, closets have gone up so much in Santa Cruz, dude. It's like 800. Dude.
I was out there.
Now it's like a normal thing to spend a ridiculous amount of money.
Like 3,000
in a closet. This nowadays it would be way more than $300.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's like I think the closet stay
add a zero.
Who the fuck is Deep Brick? What's up, Deets? Sorry, I got homies in chat.
Wow,
what's up, Deets? So yeah, moved out there. That's a long story, right there. Moved out there and started doing that hardcore. Started working at Toys R Us right next to this Circuit City that you worked at, Joel.
Dude.
We have a picture.
That's fucking cool as shit.
So
dude.
you were
203 episodes. We have not had one person who worked at a toy store, dude, and it was of all toy stores, it's Toys R Us, dude.
Hold on though, just real quick though, I do want to talk about how you moved into the Thunderdome or the Furniture Dome, whatever we called it at that point.
That's years later. We'll get there.
Oh, you haven't moved there yet.
Dude, by the time I moved into the Furniture Dome,
my timeline's off, dude.
No, it's all good, but we
all have our exciting parts of the story. I want to jump ahead a million times.
I'm sorry, dude, but I got to hear about Toys R Us just for a minute, dude. Like what?
It was all about Circuit City,
what was that? What was it like working at Toys R Us?
Stocking shelves. I worked there with.
How many times were kids crying during the day?
Often, but the first half of the time that I worked there, I was working night shifts. So we would just unload a semi truck and get everything on the shelves, and then clock out at 7 a.m. and it was perfect.
So yeah,
but how do I put this? The day that I auditioned for Estradasphere, after the audition, Tim Smullins is like, "Well, I got to go to work. Lee, what are you doing? You should come hang out with me at work later." And I'm like, "Cool. What do you do?" And he's like, "I work as a caregiver for this dude. You know him, MC Wheels from the message board." Yes. And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Yeah, I'd love to meet him." So we go over there, and it's Jesse Houts, and I've known him from the message board, so getting to hang out with him in person was super awesome. So he was literally one of the 5th or 6th people that I met when I first got to Santa Cruz to even audition.
Yeah.
So it was pretty unreal. Like I show up there and they're sitting out in Jesse's driveway. Tim's playing Iron Maiden on the guitar and Jesse's singing along to it, and just ended up hanging out there until I couldn't stay awake anymore. And I drove back to SoCal to the studio and crashed. Mm-hmm. And next day flew home. Damn. And then like a week later got the email from the guys, and they said, "Yeah, if you're into it, move out here." So did all that, moved out there, built the studio out, started working at Toys R Us. And I think before I even moved out there, actually, before I moved out there, I went out to Santa Cruz and hung out for a month to try to find a place to live, which didn't work. Obviously, if I moved into a closet. Yeah. But it was just a way for me to go out there and say, like, am I really going to do this? Totally. Which I did.
Trial period.
Exactly. So I was crashing at this dude Chip's house, Chip Yamada, who is pretty much like the honorary whatever number member of Estradasphere. He did the Palace of Mirrors DVD.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was crashing at his house off of Swift Street, at the end of Swift Street. And there was one night I was hanging out there, and my closet's right there. It's kind of cramped. I'm in the office right now. This is the office, not the bedroom. There is a bed.
Oh, Sierra, what's up, Sierra?
I distinctly remember one night at the Swift Street house, Bill came over, Bill Robinson, because he knew a girl that was living at the Swift Street house, or I think she was crashing there like me too. We were sleeping in the living room, her and I. Amy, I think was her name. So Bill comes over because he's friends with Amy. He knows Chip, and he's Bill. He's wearing cut off camo shorts, a metal shirt, dreads.
Still doing it.
He sits down at the kitchen table. He walks in the house, goes, "What's up, everybody?" He sits down at the kitchen table, opens his bag, and just starts weighing out a bunch of wheat.
Yep.
So I look at this guy and I'm like, who the hell is this dude? I need to know this guy. So I introduce myself, and he's classic Bill. He just says, "I'm Bill. I'm all about riding tubes, smoking weed, playing in my death metal band, Decrepit Birth."
The most fucking genuine human on the planet, dude. He's the same exact guy.
Exactly. So
Still
great to
cutoffs
meet.
every day.
My clip was delayed.
So I'm like, Decrepit Birth, what the hell is this? So I like get on MySpace and listen to it. And I'm like, holy fucking shit, because I've been listening to death metal a lot at that point.
Yeah.
And when you hear "And Time Begins" the first time, it's fucking nutty. And I had also been buddies with a death metal band in Atlanta that I never had the balls to play for, called Signs of Dying. If anybody in here has never heard of Signs of Dying, go check out their album "Desire is Suffering." It's three dudes in a drum machine, and it's just nuts. It's bonkers.
Yeah.
Those
Is it on
guys were
Spotify?
Maybe.
When did
drummer?
What was the era that came out? Early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
But it's blistering. It's just a guitar player, bass player, vocalist, and a drum machine, and they're playing faster than anything I'd ever heard at that point.
We've come across so many death metal bands in our like timeline in this shit. Signs of Dying sounds familiar to me, but it also is,
this shit's so sick. What the fuck is this?
You're
it's like
listening to it right now?
It's like Wretch meets Deeds of Flesh.
Dude, when he said 3-person drum machine, I immediately thought Wretch.
Holy shit.
It's fucking nuts, man. So we used to play a bunch of shows with them too, because I was in some metal bands. So those dudes were the homies. We used to play shows together like every 3 weeks. And it's the vocalist is Steve Crumbly. He's a short little dude with a shaved head and a beard, and looks like he just wants to eat you alive while he's performing.
Crumbly, dude. That last name sounds like a vocalist's last name, dude.
Steve Crumbly.
He sounds fucking crumbly, dude.
All dudes, killer dudes. But it was one of those bands where like he felt at the time you're like, I don't want to get close to the stage because this guy might fucking punch me. But we ended up doing like mini tours with them. I think one band I was with, we went to like Panama City Beach and played a show or something. It was good dudes, good friends.
Oh yeah.
It's understood as a twist, man. Just
so you were at your first Decrepit Birth listening experience.
Exactly, and meeting Bill too. So Bill,
yeah.
I hung out with Bill a handful of times before I actually moved to Santa Cruz. So, getting a taste of what Cali death is like, because I'd never really delved too much. Being on the East Coast, you're more in the Suffolk camp.
Yeah.
Dying Feet
side question, real quick, was that your first Cali death band that you heard was Decrepit Birth?
Probably not, but the first one that I heard that was kicking my ass.
Yeah.
So I of course I heard Deeds after that. I was a late bloomer to that. But so yeah, you start listening to stuff like Decrepit Birth, and then it leads to hearing about Odious Mortem too. And
nice.
At that point, I had lived in Santa Cruz for a little bit. I moved out there, so I'm still trying to find out where the local metal scene is, because I'm this metal kid playing Estradasphere with no friends.
We should back up 1 second though, like about the old Cali death, like pre 2000, like 2002. Because for me, like I just want to like interject, like back in the day, like there was no "And Time Begins," like in high school, but we had Deeds of Flesh for sure.
We had
Scourge. And so like it's important to like understand like those years. Like I feel like before like this, like the hyper fast, like because they were like fast, but it was like in a different thing. Like Deeds was always super fast, but like it was always like rad, like songwriting and like things. It was all about like the way they wrote the songs. It was so like it was like the West Coast suffocation.
Exactly.
I mean?
Yeah.
That's exactly how I felt when I heard them.
Of the West Coast was like Deeds of Flesh.
And then you got Hamilton on the drums, just punishing.
Yeah, and they're just and they're perfectly like sick live and tight, and all that shit. And then, but what was it, Joey, the guy that played all that stuff, or what was his name?
I think it's Joey,
the early drummer.
Yeah, I've never seen him live, but that guy is just
his style. I mean, I love Hamilton.
Yeah,
so much, and watching him play is such a treat. But there's also, you got to give Joey his flowers for the unique
Joey Heaslett or whatever it says.
Yeah, there's this like timing fluctuation that happens with his playing. It's really like flowy, there's no real. That's the difference between him and Hamilton. Hamilton's like
It was
distinctive changes. Yeah, distinctive changes in riffs, but it was more like a.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm just saying Joey had this like his tempo.
Yeah.
There's something that was happening like in those earlier albums where it's more of like a wavy situation.
Yeah, it's not recorded to a click track, right? So it has the music has more room to breathe.
Well, dude, Gradually Melted is that guy too.
Yeah,
sure.
And Tori from Deprecated emulates that style drumming, I think, the best after.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but they're all good. Deeds of Flesh has never had a bad drummer. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
they're all super fucking rad. And Brad was badass too on Inbreeding and shit, dude. Like insane, dude. That album is out of control.
All those records, man. If you go back and listen to one a day, it's just a fucking mind job.
But it's like Joey came back for Path of the Weakening after that, right? And then after that, it was Mike Hamilton from them on.
Yep.
Or then on. But Mike is the machine, though, dude, and a fantastic player. Like Mike's like one of the best
top dude as well,
and person.
Yeah, it's y'all's fault. I even know the guy, so I have you to blame for that friendship.
Yeah, totally.
You gotta also give a shout out to Darren.
Darren Seska.
Oh, fuck yeah!
Never met that dude. He's always been ripping though. It's crazy drum set.
Yeah. He contributed
100%. Yeah, he's awesome.
I mean, all his shit. Goratory, Pillory. You guys remember Pillory?
Pillory.
Oh yeah,
Pillory for sure.
That's
that was all him. I think he was the writer of it all and performed the drums.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Sick.
Insane.
I'm tripping out on Signs of Dying still.
It's crazy shit,
Dude,
man.
That name really does
when does this
sound
come
familiar
out
to me.
And it's funny because Reef was saying that Joe Hernandez from the New Mexico promoter gave him a physical copy of this.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to forget this stuff, right?
Yeah, it reminds me of, and it's funny because I saw Wretch for the first time at Gathering of the Sick, and that's who they remind me of, mixed with like I said, like Deeds, kind of more fast-paced kind of Deed stuff. But
they got Signs of Dying got into stuff that was so fast it sounded like the double bass sounded like a ping pong ball bouncing like right before it stops bouncing. Like this is there's no human can do this. I
feel like that's the future. I mean, I don't want it to be the future, but it's like the we were at the on tour, John's from the old guitar player from Black Dahlia, and we were like laughing our asses off like at how fast things are getting, and like we're like, dude, soon it's just gonna be a frequency soon. It's just gonna be like
well, I mean, it's funny that
Trevor said back in the day it's just gonna be pig grunting.
It's funny that we're saying this because I'm wearing this shirt tonight. I'm wearing a Agoraphobic Nosebleed.
Oh, nice.
And so that drum machine, having the drum machine as the drummer, it exceeds boundaries, and I think that's the whole point. Is we're gonna purposefully be inhuman, you know.
But where does it go from there? Like, because speed was like such the thing. I think it's kind of like mellowed out. Where like speed, when we were younger, it was kind of like speed faster, like what Casey was saying about Lee's seeing Lee's drumming and how he was focused on speed at the time and saw Lee's drumming, and because I feel like a lot of people were just focused on like Origin and just going as fast as you could, like at a certain age in the early 2000s, and then it becomes like, all right, dude. So now we're unlistenable. So,
so you know, like, so the tides, like if you ever go to like a beach and you see like the water come in and tides and they go like back out, and then it's like, oh, the tide comes in like a little bit further. Goes back out. Like I feel like dude, I see Roddy posting his live things and he's got mics and the kick drums and he's using triggers too, but he's just like being I feel like it's going back to that like holes in the jeans thing, dude. Like it's like dude, like
you kind of want a battle vest. That you kind of want.
And I hate to put him in that. I hate to like put it in that way, but I think that people are getting things have gotten so. Okay, it's like we get it. Like there's been editing going on albums for forever, dude.
Yeah, this podcast is edited.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. This is all. Well, this podcast is quantized, is what's going on.
Actually, I think I'm off
all of our
now.
all of our
We-
voices are
you didn't- yeah. We
do.
do quantize everything, dude. So
No, listen
when
to the AI
when I start talking too slow, they pick up the pace automatically.
I listened to the Hamilton episode yesterday and the part of the NKC where you say we normally record to a click track. That was fucking killing me.
You said
Crying,
the
laughing.
podcast is recorded to a click track.
Yeah.
That's amazing, dude. That's such a fucking.
That's exactly what you
dude.
said too.
That'd be funny for like for like the drummer week next. If we decided to do it again, like have a section where we just have a click going, and we all have to like respond in the click track. Just be like, have it
We
be like
should
17,
do an
18,
episode.
like
Let's
the
do an
description.
episode. Let's do an episode where it is a click track where we have to.
People will
talk
be
to-
gone like in like
In a
7
second.
minutes.
The click track is even if you're just talking, it is the vibe annihilator.
Yeah.
But here's
Oh no.
here's when you go too far in one direction like that, like too digital edited perfect, like people want like naturally the water goes back out to the ocean for a second and then comes back in, but it's like you need like there's so now you've like created this like it's like, okay, you eat the same food every day for like multiple days. I want something different. Like it's the same, like now our brain like wants, okay, go back to like more organic, like, or more to like, it's like a natural oversaturation of one thing that's like too much. Bring back like
it's the rubber band effect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't just
Put
sit around
Jonathan in
listening
there.
to Signs of Dying all day. You'll end up like me.
Yeah, Signs of Dying and Wretch and Agoraphobe Nosebleed. That's what I was gonna say. Is
Vile.
that they're the guys that wanted to just you could see the progression of speed. That's what was happening. Definitely from the late 90s to early 2000s is when speed. What are we laughing at? Casey's voice is actually a sample.
I'm gonna mute myself. I'm talking too much.
No.
This is
No,
Casey's
dude,
chance to talk
it's-
about the pod.
We're just talking about all our
He's out
behind
there.
the scenes editing that we do, dude.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Where the hell
Casey's
are
just
we?
like, cool, dude.
I'm gonna edit
Oh,
my
but-
voice and then re-release this episode after.
Just
that.
make it all Arnold, AI Arnold. Like
Yeah.
every time you talk, like, yeah.
So these bands saw the progression
It's like
and understood that everybody's trying to get inhuman or as fast as humanly possible, and they're just like, "Fuck it, dude, we're gonna get a drum machine and surpass it all." Like this album's 100 songs or 99 songs. They're all
It's 23 seconds, 23 minutes long.
yeah, it's like ranging from like 5 to 15 seconds average.
fastest drummer in
Each
the
song
world is sitting
Over
right
300
here.
BPM.
Doesn't even know it.
Yeah, that
Dude.
sounds like an
Get this
Agoraphobic
man
Nosebleed
a
song.
drum
dude.
Stressing though.
No, dude. Come
He's
on.
pushing that out.
Dude, look at that face. Joel is super fucking proud of himself right
I
there. He's
don't
like
care.
minimal popcorn, dude.
That
Oh,
reminds me
dude,
though.
dude, on the microphone, dude. Do it again on the microphone. That was actually
Dude, get this guy a drum
Sample it.
It used to be faster, dude. I'm slow now.
That's, dude, I don't
Sample it.
understand why. That's the biggest waste of
Dude,
talent.
Matt is
That's
pretty
the
close to
biggest
that. That's what my dad calls me, dude.
Hi-oh. Hi-oh.
I'm just kidding. My dad loves me.
Come on.
I did leave out earlier.
Shout out, Frank.
One of my influences section. I got really into a grindcore band from Florida called Assuck for a while.
oh, dude,
yeah,
Aztec
yeah.
is so fucking sick, dude.
Oh yeah, that.
Is it
that band-
Asuk? What's up with the two dots above it? Is it
they're
Asuk
from
or
Florida.
Asuk?
It's Assuck.
They
Yeah.
just put those up there to be silly. Those two
Yeah.
dots above the
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of white guys from Florida. There's
That's
no-
a more sound recording too, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that the guy that did Pierce from Within? The guy from Asuk? And then like
Steve Heritage or something.
oversaw the
The guitar
recording.
player's name.
I don't know.
But the drummer Rob Proctor was one of my favorites growing up. I saw Assuck
Dude.
play when I was a
Dude.
teenager, like 3 times over the
Talk
course of a
about
year and a half.
unique players, dude. And having a unique blast. His blast was a standout blast. We talk about all the guys that were contributing to extreme metal back in the 90s, and one thing was to have a signature blast, and he definitely has a signature blast.
He was the first time I heard, besides like Morbid Angel, doing the sick ass split blast on the ride to the China. You know, just killing it, and then seeing them play live 3 times was insane. Very, very influential for me.
Dude,
Say
I
that
love
10
that
times
band.
fast. Parliamentarist.
You can't even say it
Tommy.
one time fast.
Doing great.
I went for it. I just jumped in though. I didn't even try to look at it first.
You're doing good things.
Parliamentarist.
He's
All
calling
right.
me insane, not the band.
I'll look it up.
Well, I mean, shout out to Ian. Ian knows his drumming, dude, and if
definitely
he's
does.
recommending a grind band.
Well, this guy's got deep knowledge. Ian does. I mentioned the other week that band Hull from Brooklyn, and he's like, "Oh yeah, they rule." I'm like, "Okay, he knows his shit here."
Yes,
Yeah,
he
just
does.
drop certain bands when people go, "Oh yeah, the guitar player Jeremy Schenkel," and you're like, "Oh, what the fuck? How the fuck do you know about that?"
Jeremy Schenkel.
How don't you?
I love Jeremy Schenkel, dude.
Dude, Jeremy Schenkel. What the fuck? I was gonna go piss, dude.
Everybody go piss. It's me and
Everybody
Casey.
go piss. Yeah, just me and
All right,
Lee.
go
Do
drummers.
it. Do
Go
it.
piss. All right, drummer off.
Drummer only. Yeah, get out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
All right, steering contest now.
No, I want to talk to you, dude.
Okay, let's talk.
Yeah. Fuck these guys, dude.
So you got that acrylic DW kit, man. How is that?
Yeah, dude. I love it. I really do love it. And I it's like I've found different ways of loving that snare more. And like lately, I just like love it so much, like it's interesting because I don't have like a really good, I have like a old like superphonic, like, like metal or whatever snare.
Yeah.
But I like mostly wood snares forever. And
Me
then
too.
like I have, the acrylic snare with that one. And finally got it tuned, sounding really good and everything. So
I feel like those tune really dry really easily too. Like they have a more initial drier tone, which we both like. We know that's a fact. I remember we both used to play the same snare drum head. There's a Evans HD.
Yeah, totally, dude. I've kind of switched over to the power center, like reverse dot ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like them more open, and then I put like a muffling if like I want muffling.
You do the Gene Hoglan, you just put some cotton balls in the drum.
Yeah, exactly. The Boone gels, whatever.
That's a killer kit, man. Especially since you got the second kick. Dude.
I got that
nice
on offer up. That was pretty cool. I was stoked on that. Yeah, so
that's some bling bling.
I like it, dude. Yeah, I mean, I actually got it when it was like pre-ordered, like production thing or something like that. Like from Paul from Origin helped
at the Guitar Center up in
yep,
dude. He was always ordering everything for everybody.
Dude, we've had that's come up a few times.
I know, right? Paul,
but that's the thing. Like that's a hero for extreme metal musicians on a budget. He gave us access to more high quality shit that would work into our shitty budgets as young 20-year-old kids with barely any money.
Yeah, I got lucky with all the gear that I had though. Like I was playing on a Pearl export kit for all these years, and then grandma passed away on my father's side, and I got a little bit of inheritance. I think I got like $1,600. So I marched straight down to the drum store. There was a place in Atlanta called Atlanta Pro Percussion for a long time. That was the sickest drum store ever. It's just nothing but drums and cymbals. You could walk in there and get whatever you wanted. So I went in there with a pocket full of cash and ended up buying that kit that I have, the Pearl Master Studio, the Birch one.
Okay.
And you've been to Atlanta Pro Percussion too, man? This guy knows everything.
Dude, he's been everywhere. He knows everything. He cooks delicious food. This guy's a fucking... His wife is stoked.
What?
Yeah, Pro Per was sick though. Pro Percussion was the place to go to. You could just walk in there and they had literally everything. What
was the kit you had back in the day in Santa Cruz?
That's the one.
The natural one.
Yeah, the Pearl Master
Studio. Oh, okay. This is it. Okay, because I thought that was like a nice kit, and I was like trying to remember.
It's a good kit. It's definitely for the money. I paid like $1,600 for it or something, and it was like fusion sizes, which, of course, I ended up buying an extra kick drum for and a 16x16 floor tom and an 8-inch rack tom. But yeah, I played that for that's the only kit that I played with the Estradasphere with.
Ian, real quick, throw up your Twitch channel again so we can plug it for you.
I would assume it'd be Stick Drummer Magazine.
I'm sure it is, but I don't know if it's like sick drummer Ian or something.
Take a shot. How do you put up with these guys, Anthony?
I love them to death, dude.
Ripping on you all the time.
He has kids. He has a bunch of kids. He can deal with this.
I die on the hill of I'll be the brunt of a joke for this show any time of the fucking week, dude.
The one thing though,
doing this every week.
He cannot handle one thing that I love. It's so funny if you just mute him for a half
second. Don't even bring it up right now.
He gets. I won't do it right now, but I'll save it for a good time.
You better not do it.
See, look how pissed he is. It's so good.
I know.
It's so easy. Such an easy button to hit.
Just talking about it, it's not even.
He's like, he raises his eyebrows. He's like, you better not do it, dude.
He's like, yeah, not that. We'll fucking.
Ian, I can't message you because you have whispers blocked from strangers.
Dude. Well, I don't want any strangers whispering at me either, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what Bill's implying is when you fucking mute me when I'm talking, dude.
I'm not gonna do it, dude. I mean, I'll do it like when I get buzzed enough and I think it's funny.
There's one time that you muted me that I actually loved it though, which was when I decided I was gonna freestyle rap, and you muted me the whole time, and actually it was a blessing in disguise because I was probably fucking bombing so hard, dude. But you muted me the whole time, and I was like, "Thank God he fucking muted me, dude."
They would have been living on in the internet annals for a long time.
I'm just trying to help your family in the future, dude.
Dude,
that
definitely helped my family, dude. Thank you.
It's like the OnlyFans, the mom that did OnlyFans for like a weekend and was like, "Shit."
Fucking it's up on the internet forever now, dude.
Yeah, the kids are at school going like, "Hey, is this your mom, dude?" That's a nightmare, dude. That's like the ultimate nightmare.
I doubt that fucking teenagers are gonna find a bunk fucking OnlyFans account with one upload. Those kids would really have to be fucking digging to find that one, dude.
Oh shit! I just clicked it too.
It is a sausage fest. That's from way back though. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, Reef wants me to fucking just embarrass myself right now. What if I did, dude?
I mean,
I totally had the chance to have it wiped from the internet, but I said no, I'm gonna do a new one and completely fucking obliterate myself.
Save it for the 5-year anniversary.
Nope, don't start a beat, dude. No. All right, so Lee, you fucking bought a sick drum set, dude.
Yeah, I did. Still have it. It's in my parents' basement right now.
So every dime of that 1,600 went towards the set.
Pretty much. And I remember the night that I bought it, I was setting it up at the rehearsal studio that I had in downtown Atlanta, and we used to rehearse down this hall from Mastodon. And I had fanboyed the fuck all over Braun when it was the era right when Remission came out.
Yep.
So I used to see Mastodon play whenever they played, I'd go and I'd walk up to Braun and talk to him at the merch table like Chris Farley on that skit, being like, "Hey, that song you did that thing."
Remember that one time you did that one thing?
Pretty cool.
That was cool.
Yeah, exactly. So by the time I was in the rehearsal studio, he knew who I was, and we'd see each other in passing. But I remember the day I bought that kit, I was setting it up on my rack, and he knocks on the door and he comes in. We're like hanging out while I'm setting up this new kit. Super awesome time. Awesome dude. Still is. I'm still starstruck by that guy.
Totally.
I've been listening to nothing but Mastodon the last 2 days too. That's weird that you bring that up. It's been like just going like listening to. I have to do long drives back and forth now, and once more around the sun, I'm just like obsessed with. Like at the moment, just went back to that. And also, those guys are super nice. I've got to hang out with them at PsychoFest. And they were super cool. I remember I was FaceTiming my buddy who was like a humongous Mastodon fan, and I just gave the phone to Braun, and they just talked about art for like 15 minutes. I was like, all right, dude, I need my phone back. I need to go back to the hotel room. But no, he's super cool, dude. Super nice guy, and he exactly how he acts. He's like kind of this funny, quirky guy. He's exactly that in person, and I was blown away that he was that dude in person.
And from watching all the, because back when it was cool to have the home videos because of Pantera's home videos, every other metal band wanted to do it. For several years after that, and Mastodon would do it, and he was always the personality. I mean, they all had great personalities in those, documentaries or whatever you would call them. But Braun was always like a comedic element to everything. And I also always got to shout out Lethargy, because that's something very close to my heart, just like Mastodon is. And Braun's part of both of it, and also the other dude, I'm forgetting his name right now. The other guitar player of Mastodon was in that band too.
Bill Keller.
Yeah, and
Bill's red.
Yeah, I always just have to give them the shout out, because their style of playing in Lethargy bled into like a lot of the Mastodon stuff we like.
You would have loved being in Atlanta when Remission came out, though, because they were I've seen Mastodon play on New Year's Eve like 5 times.
Hell yeah.
Like, what are you doing today? Mastodon's playing. We're going to go see Mastodon over here, over there. They were just kicking the world's ass at that point.
So sick.
Still are, dude. I mean, they're a force. And every time I've seen them, it's been, again, another super level up entertaining experience, kind of like Estradasphere,
Right.
What's the other guitar player? I can't think of his name right now. The other guitar player, the red-haired guy.
Homeless guy?
Yeah, homeless guy.
You're thinking of the
Brent Hines.
Dude, Brent Hines, if you want to laugh, look that guy up being interviewed. That guy's probably the funniest. Literally, there are interviews that I show to like people when I'm like bored. I'm like, check this fucking interview.
He's
and
wild.
Start laughing. Everyone cracks up the whole time because he doesn't give a fuck. He's just like, he just shows up.
Kind of a
goes,
controversial figure too.
I mean that was back in the.
I mean,
that was fine.
I know from I'm not going to say any stories, but definitely a controversial figure.
Okay. Did you ever see Fiend Without a Face?
Oh yeah,
play? Yeah.
I saw a 4-hour Fogger play. That was Brent's old band back in the mid '90s. They used to play at this punk rock house, the Ida Phi House in downtown Atlanta. So yeah, I've seen Brent play pretty much my whole life.
Yeah, and he was always that character.
Creepy.
Always wild.
Yeah,
always wild.
That's sick, dude. I mean, I've always looked up to those dudes.
You're hopefully sick. The story is to hopefully you're sick.
Either way, dude. I mean,
I've never played at the Tabernacle. No,
you can't see that dude now when you're talking about the interviews that he's in, and not have a colorful past. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He looks like a previous homeless guy.
One step away, 1 foot in the gutter, as we all are.
Well, that was the story about them meeting, though, right? He was like actually homeless. There was a guy from Lethargy watching a High on Fire show, something in Atlanta, and that's how they all met, like hanging out like in a crowd, and they just like Bill Keller.
This guy shreds. Let's see.
Yeah, in a band. Like let's jam, and they like wrote like a song that's on Remission like that week after or something like that. I remember hearing the
Mastodon EP was recorded like 7 miles up the highway off of Six's Road.
Is
at Lead Belly Studios by Matt Washburn. Yeah, exactly. That's the first recording studio I actually recorded at, was Lead Belly Studios, where that album was recorded. It's just this dude's basement.
Belly.
What band did you record with?
This punk rock band I was playing in at the time. I don't even remember which one it was because I was playing like 3 of them at the time. But I don't know. Just like, we got $300. We're gonna go to this guy's house and record 2 songs. It's gonna be awesome.
Put it out on 7-inch.
That's how it used to be. That's how it used to be with like recording. It used to be like, we got like $1,000. Let's get a song recorded. Now it's like, we got $1,000. Let's get an interface, a computer, a monitor, cords, everything you need, and some microphones, and you could get like literally legit. I wouldn't say legit, but pretty good sounding setup nowadays for buying used stuff for $1,000. You can have your own kind of like recording setup.
Oh yeah, I'm from the school of train of thought where you got like a tape cassette 4-track that you like shove it under a pillow behind your drum kit to record your drums. So
it doesn't peak. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
that's where we cut our teeth. You know what I mean?
Or the 4-track with a mic in the middle of the jam room, just like a hanging whatever mic. I don't know what brand it is.
Standing in the middle, holding it.
Yeah, totally.
He's all, here's a solo. Just like point it towards the amp as a solo.
Yeah, just like point the microphone. Yeah.
Anyways,
I kind of got to break the seal here, gentlemen.
Do it.
Give me a
break it, dude.
Piss.
No problem.
Piss, dog. Piss. Yeah, slow
That was a perfect dismount, dude.
Dude. Yeah, but I've been on a hardcore Mastodon kick. Oh, we got double. It's just me and you, dude.
Yeah, dude. Look at you, young bucks, dude.
But what I love about Mastodon, I've been taking, I took about a 2-3-year break from listening to any of their stuff, basically. And for me, I was listening to, because I had friends that would why is it's all vibrating on the side? It's weird. But I had friends that would literally would be. Are you gonna go piss? Sick dude.
No.
Anytime he talks, it's like it's a AI.
No. Hold on. I made a banner for this. Here it is. Here's the banner.
Interjection.
But no, like listening to the guitar styles are so weird, dude. Like, and I remember like a while ago, like for me, Once More Around the Sun's my favorite one. Like all the way through, there's the weirdest ideas and stuff. Obviously, like, what's the one before that everyone
Crack
loves?
the Sky.
Crack the Sky is like for most people their favorites. I listened to that after listening to Once More Around the Sun. I'm like, this doesn't even come close. I was literally, that's how I felt. Like there's some cool intros and stuff that I love for the songs with the strings and stuff. I think it might be the song Crack the Sky. But and there's some really cool like vibes in it, but like Once More Around the Sun, I feel like it's like the most underrated.
You want to know what's really crazy about Crack the Sky though is, and we brought up Braun. Sky was the name of his
sister,
his twin sister.
Oh, well, now I feel like an asshole. Really?
I think they were twins. I might be wrong with the twins, but definitely sister.
Yeah.
And
she died very young too. I think she.
Jesus Christ! I'm talking about the music. I didn't know about the story. That like,
okay, well, sorry, dude.
I don't like the sister dying one more than the other one. Then,
bro, it's gonna get real for you right now because when you listen to that song,
Crack the Sky more. Crack the Sky is my favorite album by them.
So Braun talks about this story of post her death and him mentally being unstable and doing psychedelics and shit, and he was on acid and he freaked out, went to the cemetery and tried to dig her up.
Jesus Christ.
And that song's lyrics is about all of that. You could see, he's like, I'm pulling her, I forget the exact lyrics, but he's like pulling earth and talking about his hands, and he's literally talking about digging down to his sister. And I think they were 16. So it was they had.
She was young when she died for sure.
It was very deep. And again, Mastodon writes about deep shit, dude.
Yeah,
there is some like lyrics like that I'm listening to with because I listened to Once More Around the Sun I think twice today. It's so just bringing that band up is kind of a trip to me because I was telling Anthony that I'd not listened to him for about 2 years, and then about a day ago I started just on this fucking tear of Mastodon, like just on all my drives. I'm just listening to it the whole time, like for an hour each way. And I've just been like on that, and even some of the lyrics on Once More Around the Sun, I'm like, I wonder what it's kind of a story they're telling here, and
they definitely do. I mean,
go ahead.
Braun did an album about his mom dying from cancer or something too.
It's
Emperor of Sand or whatever. I think
the lyrics are just as important as the music, dude. The lyrics are just as important as the music. If you're not reading the lyrics to Mastodon songs, you're not getting the full experience.
Except for like,
I'll take the music for
100. Okay on that. It's like
except for what?
Crusher Destroyer and songs like that. That's just
for me. Their music.
That's making a statement. That's making a statement.
For me, their music is. I mean, I don't even know what they're saying in lyrics, and I love it's like life-changing music. So
yeah,
I would disagree with you there.
I still get goosebumps when I hear that song.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I was listening to it's on Crack the Sky, right? Oblivion. Yeah. I remember listening to that the other day and just getting like gnarly goosebumps, like going through Castroville, just like there's a big artichoke there, and I'm just going. Literally, that's like where it happened. I remember like it was like yesterday, and just listening to it, and I'm like, ooh, getting like I'm tired. I worked 10 hours that day, and I'm just like.
You got a jolt from it, though.
I got a jolt, and it helped me drive, and I was psyched on it. I was like, "That's music gives me that touch."
That's me with the Cali pod, man. I just listen to it all the time. There's so many episodes. I didn't know y'all were
dude.
doing this for like 2 years too. Like,
Dude, we've been doing it since 2020.
yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
like, I found it in 2022. I found it on YouTube or something. I was like, Cali Death Podcast. Who the fuck are these idiots? Oh shit!
It's like, oh shit, I know these guys deeply.
Literally, I think that was my reaction. I was like, who the Cali?
Yep.
What the fuck is this garbage? Oh,
Bunch of
shit.
idiots.
It's the boys.
That's fucking rad, dude.
All your good friends like,
It's
oh
the
shit,
boys.
sorry. And speaking of garbage, I'm gonna go into a quick story real quick of
Wait, before you go into it,
one
I
of the
just want to
funniest-
talk. I
Yeah.
just want to say one thing about what you were talking about, and I just
Okay.
want to mention it. I've mentioned it a couple times on the podcast, but there's something about certain albums that if you've had your fill and then you shelf them, then they like recharge.
Yeah.
And if you have enough time to let them fully recharge, then they actually give you those same energies and
sometimes they
feelings.
overcharge. They overcharge, and all of a sudden it hits you like, damn, this is way sicker than I even thought it was back in the day. Like, you'll
Yeah.
find like things about it that like you'll just completely
You hear
overwhelm
it in a
you.
different
Like,
way. Yeah.
yeah, you're at a different age. And it's funny because Anthony hit 40 just recently. Happy birthday,
Oh,
brother! I love
Little
you.
baby,
But,
cute baby.
I know, little baby, pinch his cheeks. But he was like giving me a bunch of shit. He was giving me a bunch of shit about. He's like, dude, you're still like fucking. Doesn't even matter, blah blah blah. And he turned 40, and we were talking, and I was like, is it different? He's like, dude, it fucking sucks so much. Like,
Yeah, it hurts every day. It hurts every day.
yeah,
Anthony,
from
the
40
smart thing
on.
though, out of all of us, he learned how to turn a wrench early on, so he actually did the right thing.
Yeah, no, but I'm, you know, I don't know if I was not paying attention as much, but you know, body aches are kind of weird right now. You know,
Yeah, I can
and
agree.
so
once 40 hits, you're just kind of hyper, like paying attention to your body.
that's what it is, dude. I think that you know, no matter what, I've been dying since I was born, but
The Tibetan philosophy. Yeah.
Damn,
But-
beautiful.
that I've been distracting myself from it, and now hitting the 40 mark makes it pulls the veil away from things, regardless of whether you want to see it or not, you know. And now you're
already
like,
need a
oh,
walker,
dude,
man."
it hurts from my right side of my back down to my ankle, dude. I don't
Yeah.
really, you know, all
My
of a
back
sudden,
is fucked right now.
This is
It's
this is
fucked.
actually a huge statement right here because thinking of like a guitar player, Guthrie Govan. So Guthrie
yeah, that guy's
Govan is
awesome.
like it's one of the best. I think he's probably if I had to pick a best of all time, like as far as like skill and what he can do with a guitar, I think he's number one. But like watching
Especially the
him, I watched.
aristocrat stuff.
Oh yeah, Jesus! I know. I saw them about 2 years ago live. It was insane. But just watching him, like he was like brown haired and smiley, like blah blah. But like I might have been between 44 and like something else because then he was fully gray with like a huge gray beard and just like and looked old as shit. And I was like, and it was like
the ravages of age.
yeah, no, but it's like what I think the main thing, and I talked to buddies about this is like there's a time like right now I could go to people like how old am I, and they can go like, oh, you're 32 or something. But the thing is right now I'm 40 and I will look like 46 plus at 43 or something. Like there'll be like a rapid aging that humans do.
you
I
got
don't
an
know, man.
exponential increase in
I just noticed it with
age.
humans. I've noticed it like when some people I'm like, yeah, that guy's definitely fucking 53. You know what I mean? Like, and there's but like 2 years before that, I could say like that guy's 40, 45. But there's like I've noticed with the age, there's like an exponential, and like you dude said, it's a
I think that
scientist.
all of us look younger
Yeah,
than we are. All four of us right now. I think that we all
revisit
are
10 years later. Let's
good
revisit this and see
examples of
your wrinkles.
aging at post 40. You know,
That means I got 2 years left before the shit hits the fan.
dude,
Party it out,
fucking
brother.
Party it up.
Lee is our elder tonight, so we should listen to Lee.
Hey, you youngsters,
Yeah.
listen to me. Stay in school.
I'll be
no, that's
42 in March. But,
Perfect example. Lee looks like the youngest one here, but like at the same time, you're older
like
and you're
shit.
gonna.
he doesn't have like 7 kids like Anthony.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
I can't remember the last time I felt great.
What about
Yeah,
good?
dude.
Good is pretty.
Good.
Good is like
It's like rare.
Good enough.
yeah, good's rare. But when you get good, you're like fuck yeah. I mean, but when you get good, you're like dude. But great was sick. But I forget kind of what that feels like. But good, it's good right now. So
Well,
I think
definitely
yeah.
feeling good has something
I mean,
physical involved
so
in your day.
feeling
Whether it be
good is
playing drums or taking a walk or fucking, you know.
feeling
Not
good is
yet, 30
out of
years.
pain.
we do the fucking Cali Death Pod 5-year anniversary, and I'm way more
be there
gray
for
in
that.
the beard.
I'd be a guest on that. Let me meet that Josh dude. That guy killed me on the 4-year anniversary.
Yeah,
Josh Staples, shout out
fucking
Josh.
hilarious.
Josh, I know, I
Josh?
love Josh.
Fucking that guy had me
Josh.
crying.
Yeah,
We had some back and forth after that episode too. We were talking film and all that stuff. He's a great dude, and always a character. He was a character.
I kind of want to
his...
start like a side Cali Death Pod about sports, metal and sports with him, because he is so locked into sports that I'm like, dude,
you guys can definitely, you guys can
he
vibe
just
on
throws
that for
like
sure.
little things at you that are just fucking nuggets of like the
So
funniest
funny.
shit I've ever heard because of the Boston or the Massachusetts accent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
Biggest
unfiltered.
Boston accent I've ever heard.
It's very unfiltered and just kind of straight to the punches. This is how it's fucking is.
Yeah.
Mark
That's
Magnus,
how
who
he
is that
talks.
dude? What does he do? Like, he's got long hair, so he's got to shred at something.
Josh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he played in when we met him when he was bass player for Neuraxis.
Oh,
And
hell yeah.
but he played
Alright.
but in for like his area in Massachusetts, like the Worcester area, Worcestershire,
Worcester?
Worcester,
Mhm.
Worcester, Worcester. Like he's like instrumental in like all that scene with the punk and the hardcore and the death metal and all that stuff, like grindcore. He was like in all the bands and was a promoter for a lot of the
Oh, yeah.
bands, and so he's really deep in that shit, and the fucking Patriots fan. But as far as everything like but no, as far as that goes, like he's like Josh. I mean, I still like say it's like Lee. He reminds me kind of like you, when I have sayings and I like link it to the human. Like he goes
Right.
like we go to like after the show. He goes, let's go to the Stop and Shop. I'm like, the Stop and Shop. Are we getting like meat or something? Like
Yeah,
I thought like
shoes or
yeah, juice. He's like the Stop and Shop. I'm like, okay, we're going to the Stop and Shop. So I guess that's like a meat store or something like that. And it was
gonna get
Stop
some
and
cold
Shop.
cuts at the end of the night.
Stop and shop, dude.
He loves that. He loves like accentuating his accent for like California boys. I mean, and girls probably.
It's like a flex. It's flex. It
It's
goes
boys.
with, yeah.
Let's pack the car. My dad's backing. Just shit like there's many other things that he taught me that or showed me that I've now retained. But yeah, just that Massachusetts accent is some of the funniest shit. And then there's there's fucking Southern, there's Australian. I'm gonna need to get Pep on here from Psychroptic. That guy, he's we've been talking actually for a little while. I need to get him on here. But he like that guy had sayings that are kind of like country sayings, like here, like but they're Australian and they're related completely to their culture, and they're the funniest fucking things I've ever heard in my life. Like I wish I remember one, but they were so fast and quick.
Like if you step on a kangaroo's toe, then you go.
It's shit like that, dude. And it's literally the funniest shit. I ran into him like 2 years ago, and we talked for like an hour, and I was just getting all that shit off of him. And he's like, I don't know about I can't do an Australian accent podcast, but I'm doing a hick accent.
Yeah, you are. But you just say I can only do.
No, coming on now, Pam.
Dive highly. Dive.
It's like
highly.
Boomhauer fucking dive. Like diving
highly.
board. That's how I said
I
Dave.
love that guy.
Yeah. Oh, dude, those guys are fucking rad. Anyway, so you were like in elementary school or something, playing like the fucking recorder.
40 minutes later,
yeah, tell you.
I played some drums. I gotta go to bed. Actually,
can we finish this from bed?
We're not gonna let Lee go to bed.
Part 2.
It's gonna be
I'm fully loaded, ready to go. I don't think I have any work obligations tomorrow, so I can go till my brain gets done.
Oh yeah,
fuck yeah,
dude.
Let's lean back into moving to Santa Cruz, really establishing yourself in the scene.
Sorry,
narc.
Yeah, woman. So yeah, I moved out to Santa Cruz, and fully foreign world to me. I'm just dude from Georgia living in Santa Cruz. Like it was like being in Disney World every day. I went to the beach every day. I ate a burrito every day. I'm in my favorite band. It was surreal. But lots of work to be done. So we pretty much got straight to work. Spent about 2 years recording Palace of Mirrors. Pretty much.
Jesus, yeah.
Because the songs weren't really even written until I got there. There was a bunch of ideas, but they had to be fleshed together. And everybody had their own shit bringing to the table, which the album initially, Palace of Mirrors, was supposed to be a double album. It was supposed to be 2 CDs. So eventually it was something ridiculous.
I would love to hear all the...
There's the B-sides are available.
On Tim's shit, right? Tim has everything available, I think.
We actually did a second EP afterwards called the Pegasus Vault. That was all of the B-sides that never got fully fleshed out and recorded. So it's just a bunch of goofy ideas, more along the tongue-in-cheek side of what Estradasphere is known for.
I love that you guys did that because nerds like me eat that shit up, dude.
Yeah, put it out there.
You almost you're making yourself a fly on the wall of the writing and recording process of an album that you love, you know, and you would love to be, we were talking about being in the studio with a band while they're rehearsing, or even like, I was going to ask you about, did you guys have improv days where you would just jam out and some of those ideas made it all the way through to the album?
I mean, for sure. Just like every band, you know, we were pretty militant about it though, because none of those guys really worked full-time jobs. Besides, like Tim, he was working as a nurse for that guy, which I started doing as well shortly after I moved to California. So we would basically have our rehearsal days was like, we would call it like downbeat at this time, where like we would all meet up at like at the bagelery off of SoCal Drive.
Yep.
So we'd all meet up for bagels at like 10 a.m., get coffee, get to
go to
the
JJ's
rehearsal space. So downbeat was at like 11, we would say. So downbeat means you're at your instrument ready to play at 11.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Everything, you're tuned up, you're plugged in, whatever you got to do, downbeat's at this time.
Damn.
And then, you know, you show up, it's 11 o'clock, everybody gets stoned.
Nice.
And you start jamming, and then, you know, then you start getting into the rehearsals, which with Estradasphere was very different from anything I'd ever done. It was a lot of sectionals, as we called it, where whether it was learning old material or practicing new material, you'd break off into sections and practice the parts.
Very scholastically driven, like very from educational things they have done in the past, being, you know, they all have like insane degrees on music. They're like, this works the best. Let's do this. And
Exactly.
But just to interject really quick with the, I still tell people stories about this when you'd come home from those, because we were living together when you were dealing with a lot of stuff, and I remember you coming home. You're like, no, but there was a time I think it might have been.
No, I would come to the furniture dome after rehearsals. So yeah.
And you were talking about like literally. You said one day we've been practicing for 12 hours today.
Yep.
And I was like and I was like, what the like 12-hour rehearsal? Like that's, and you're like, yeah, dude, you were done for the day. You were like, Jesus Christ.
That's why I loved coming and hanging out with you guys so much, because you'd spend 8 hours out of the day behind your kit with your sticks in your hand, not playing anything, waiting for this melody to get worked out or whatever. And but a lot of that was me learning parts too, to be fair. A lot of that was just the orchestration of writing these tunes as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like every band, we get together, jam.
Can we all agree that weed is the +1 member of all of our bands?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about getting stoned before you rehearse. I think that, you know, getting high before we would jam would enhance our jam. And it is that extra member. Like,
it puts the blinders on. It's like, who's that Canadian Olympic skier back in the day that got busted? He got his medal taken away for testing positive for marijuana, and now is like a marijuana company. That's the way we treat it, where it's like
bike.
Yeah. It puts the blinders on and it lets you focus at the task at hand, which for us was being fucking idiots and playing music.
Yeah, we were wrangling all these crazy stoner ideas that we were putting together as a collective.
Exactly. So lots of that, and all the while I'm new to California, so I'm hanging out with all the Estradasphere homies, Trace Bruance included. He would hang out pretty rarely. I went to his place in the woods, the aforementioned Wizard Prison. Hung out there a few times. Pretty wild, especially considering Mr. Bungle's one of my favorite bands. Same with Secret Chiefs. So just being thrown to that world. I remember one night hanging out with Trey at like a coffee shop off Pacific Avenue. I just fucking fanboyed all over him. I just asked every question I've always wanted to ask about like the Disco Volante sessions and all that shit. And great experience. Very humbling as well, because I'm just this fucking kid from Roswell, Georgia, and all of a sudden I'm living my double dipped cream dream thrill ride of a lifetime. But all the while, you know, that's all it was. So I was, you know, constantly looking for people to hang out with, because I didn't know anybody. I knew like a dozen people when I moved to California, and somehow, some way, I met Bill that one night. So I think it was like.
So that's the connection. Okay.
That's the first connection, right? And then I remember there was a show that happened at the Aptos Club. It was Odious Mortem, Decrepit Birth, and Origin.
Yep.
And I went to the shit out of that show, and it was fucking awesome. And I remember actually I walked straight up to Casey after Decrepit Birth stopped playing and started talking to him, and was like, "Hey, blah blah, I'm blah blah blah, and I do blah blah blah, and I'm new here, blah blah blah," and he's like, "Cool." I didn't really talk to Casey after that.
That was my first full set with the band, I think.
It was fucking awesome. For me, from Atlanta, not knowing any death metal, and especially Atlanta. I love Atlanta. I hate Atlanta too. Atlanta fucking sucks. But there's not much that came out of Atlanta specifically for death metal. Am I wrong? Like, name a monumental death metal band from Atlanta.
The Falcons. Sorry.
Sick.
No, you mentioned Casey real quick. He still reacts that same exact way.
What happened? Like,
because he was talking about how you
and tried to like fucking fanboy over Casey, like tried to be his friend immediately. And
Casey still can't take compliments, dude. You
gotta
give him all the compliments.
You know,
I have a basket.
Oh, really?
I have a basket of unused compliments on Casey because I hold him back. You know, but I just want to shower him with them, dude. He is.
I remember one day I went to what was it, Streetlight Records downtown,
and
David Siskin was working there.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
So of course I recognized David. So I approached him and was like, "Hey, dude, blah blah blah, let's hang out." And we exchanged numbers. And then Death. I could talk about Death too. I actually used to hang out with A.L. Levy at Atlanta Institute of Music. That's a long story. Same with fucking Amel too. I know those guys from fucking music school.
Trip.
But yeah.
So you hooked up with Siskin, and how did that? What was that? Do you remember that conversation? How did you know it was him? And did you guys just? Yeah.
I just approached him and was like, "Hey, dude, I'm new in town. If you want to hang out sometime," and he's like, "Of course, yeah, let's hang out. I live on this furniture store across from the street from the hospital." And I'm like, "Sick." So I go over there the first time with him, and I meet all you guys. So that's when we actually started hanging out, because David. Damn. And I doubt David would even remember that, probably, because it was that long ago and that quick.
I love David. He would remember that. I think David definitely
today. Yeah.
Dude,
that's literally his style of, like, when we were living at the Thunderdome and stuff, he was the guy that was like, just bring everyone, like, "Oh, you're into the same thing? Come hang out. Come out." You know, he was that guy that like all these random people would come hang out because David's like, "Met this sick guy. This guy fucking shreds it, blah blah blah, or good at blah blah, or knows what." Just like, we have a lot in common. Let's hang out. You know, back in those like early he was like going to college and meeting a lot of people, and he would just, him and Josh Seitman and all those people, just like bring these random people into our life, and I would never have met any of them if it wasn't for those guys. Kind of like
straight up
sick, you know?
Yeah. And that's how we all met and started hanging out.
Damn.
You know, I used to just come over to the Dome at that point, and then Casey and I got really tight at that point because we were, like I said, just both stoked on what each other were doing. And
totally.
Also, yeah, I did hang out with everyone. I know everybody.
But you have to admit, dude, and we've said it so many times on the show, but Furniture Dome was like a little safe haven for us to just go and be ourselves together, you know. it was a welcoming atmosphere for people to come and get creative and party and build friendships.
Yeah, just be idiots with no limits, pretty much. Like that.
Yeah.
There was a 7-Eleven down the street. There was that liquor store that had the deli in it.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like, you didn't have to leave the block.
You
No, it
didn't,
was
dude.
across the street. Yeah, it was awesome.
I was saying earlier, the liquor deli.
The liquor deli.
That place
I
was
still,
Garden
I
deli,
still,
garden deli.
I still
Garden
wave.
deli.
I wave. I like a dork. I wave at the Furniture Dome if I drive by it.
Forrest Gump. Just
And
It's a
I'm
weed store now.
40-year-old man. If I drive by the
Yeah.
Furniture Dome, I'll even tell my kids to wave if the kids are in the car too.
Wave at the weed store, kids.
It's a weed store.
so yeah, that was also like my escape, because I'd spend all this time with the Stratosphere being super serious. Then I'd go over to the Furniture Dome and like watch Decrepit rehearse in Casey's bedroom. It was just fucking sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys were like definitely the place where I could go and be myself and wasn't held under a microscope all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Stratosphere got crazy. We put out the record. We did a couple tours. We got really ambitious with those tours because when Palace of Mirrors was released, we wanted to make a movie out of it. We wanted to make a DVD out of it. So we did a bunch of crazy shit on tour. The first Stratosphere tour I went on was the full nationwide tour, and it had 2 vans and a trailer. And I think there was 12 people or 10 people on the tour, something like that. So 6 band members and 4 other people.
Yeah.
Because we were bringing video cameras, we were taping every single show, audio and visual.
I mean, the whole stage is filled with everybody's instruments because you're the only one who would stay behind your kit, but everybody else is switching instruments throughout each song.
Yep.
Tim could be playing violin one song, guitar one song, trumpet
on another.
You know, and Jason's got his mad collection of guitars.
He's got the Kurzweil keyboard.
Kevin's playing guitar sometimes playing the Shamisen. Keyboard player could be playing fucking an accordion. You know, a
clavinet or a keyboard.
Yeah. So it totally makes sense that you had to bring multiple vehicles, multiple people. It's a whole real thing, dude.
It was a circus, and that's compared to what Estradasphere used to travel as back in the day. They used to travel as a circus, like the It's Understood tour days. They had like death metal cheerleaders, black metal cheerleaders on tour.
Yeah,
it was
that one DVD that you mentioned. They paraded through Santa Cruz.
Yep.
A giant parade.
Yeah, they were insane. Truly ahead of their time. They had like a full Backstreet Boys era too, where they were like the boy band. They'd all wear like, puffy vests and
yeah.
It's
just always interesting. That's what I tend to gravitate to, is something that's always interesting and unique and kind of maybe got some quirk involved, but
that's what the whole web of mimicry thing was at that time, and I was fully invested in it. Like there was a good 6 to 18 months of my life where all I listened to was Estradasphere, Secret Chiefs, Dengue Fever, Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum, you name it, whatever was on the mimicry catalog. That's what I ate and drank.
Which shout out to Sleepy Time. They put out a new record this year, and it's fucking amazing. I
love
purchased my physical CD still, like a old man. But I'm actually that takes. I know we're in the weeds, but that was another time that I saw you guys was Great American Music Hall.
That's right.
And yeah, it was me and the wife, and we got to come hang out backstage with you guys. And Sleepy Time was doing the fucking 2-hour set with an intermission, like 20 to 30 minute play in between 2 sets, and you're just like, the fuck, dude? And the Stratosphere is opening up for this. Your mind is.
That was the night that I did like the crowd control move. The one time in my life, it was sold out show at Great American Music Hall or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget what song we finished playing, but like by the end of the song, like I'm standing up behind the drum set, just screaming at the audience. And then eventually I realized, oh shit, I got him. So I did the whole thing where I make them quiet down and then get loud again. And my team Sleepy Time came to me after I did that.
Dude.
That's fucking awesome. You did that.
It was I think that's like the perfect crowd for you guys. Somebody who would be coming out to see Sleeping Time, even if they've never heard Estradasphere, it fits perfectly on that bill, you know. And for the people who are down with both, it's a double whammy. And yeah, dude, all right, I could go forever on Estradasphere.
Me too.
But
so we found a place where I can go forever.
Forever, dude. I mean, it is such a powerful band, and Gilbert's the one who turned me on to them, dude. So Gilbert
is the fucking
him, and he made me pay attention to Bungle, even though I came across Bungle at 15. By the time I was hanging out with Gilbert, he was like, "Wait, you need to hear this again." And I was just like, "Wow, dude!" And
we tried to get Gilbert involved with the God of Shamisen stuff too,
dude.
It never worked out.
He would have been a great addition, I think. I think that he's very particular. He's very, you know,
he's fucking
how
insane.
he works with music is
player.
just I sit back and wait, and when he's ready to do shit, I'm ready to do it with him. That's it. You know?
Yeah, the few times I saw Severed play, it was just fucking mind blowing. That whole band just kicks your fucking ass in.
Yeah.
Especially fucking Murray, like that guy, like back in the day, was like the same as the guy from Signs of Dying. Like that guy on stage is like, okay, here to you, man. Like, don't look at me like that.
No, he was like literally my like basically back in the day. That was the guy that was like, all right, dude. So I'm playing bass that used to play guitar in a band. Can we like buddy up and like I'd go over to his house in San Francisco and we just like jam bass stuff together, and he'd show me stuff that he's working on. And he was like, he literally kind of, I mean, for my situation, was kind of my death metal father for the instrument, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas Mike Hamilton was kind of like the band father, but he was like the scary guy, you know, that was like, let's jam. I'm like, fuck yeah. And he would like fucking like flick, like when he'd play live, I'd like be in the front row and he'd like flick picks and hit me in the eye. Like perfectly, like perfect precision, like bam, and just start cracking up and stuff. Like he was like, but I was also like completely, he was like the guy I wanted to be. I was like, I want to be like Murray. That's like,
he's
number one.
He's a personality and presence on stage, dude. I mean, he'd flick you and hit you in the eye, and then 5 minutes later, he would be sea walking. Wow. It was. I think that Murray was an element of the band that you could just sit there and watch him all night.
Definitely, 100%. Yeah,
get the whole experience, dude.
He was like so like I remember seeing him at a Tribe Called Quest, Wu-Tang, and Snoop Dogg show, and at Shoreline, and like I was like got in for free. I was like, I'm down to check this out. I was into it, but I was like not that into it. But he was like fucking wife beater, and just came up to me and like and at Shoreline and just like ran at me full speed, and I luckily saw him in time to get low and like hit him back, and like he was like, yeah, what's up? Like so excited to see me, but it was like a very violent exchange. And I was like, but I was like, the fact that I was like, luckily I got low enough. Jesus Christ, he was coming full speed at me. Put my arm down. He's like, fuck yeah, and just hugged a bunch and like, fuck yeah, blah, blah. And he just like took off. I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy's energy, man. Like, holy fuck. Yeah, and he was like training in like jiu-jitsu at MMA. Oh yeah, totally.
He's totally 100%. Be real.
No. Shout out Murray.
Yeah, shout out Murray. Hashtag I'm scared of Murray. So Estradasphere stuff starts happening, and we get the album put out. It took like 2 years to do something. We put it on The End Records.
Yep.
And he signed a contract. The boys signed a contract. That's the weird part, because I didn't sign any contract with The End Records. It was all Tim and Timba and Jason. And I was kind of upset about it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But Timba kind of sat me down and was like, look, dude, you don't want to do this.
It's on our dime now. Our social security numbers are tied to this.
Basically.
He's kind of right, dude.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And at the time, it was when we were mixing Palace of Mirrors. We were at, where the fuck were we? Hyde Street Studios in San Francisco. Where everything has been done, like
Yeah.
hieroglyphics albums and
Hell yeah.
Mr. Bungle and Dead Kennedys and shit like that had been there. So we're there doing that and mixing, mastering the album. It comes out. We put this agenda together to make a DVD, and we start doing it. So the first tour we did, nationwide tour, was pretty brutal. It was long days, long drives, but these guys had done this a lot at that point. I had been on some tours myself before them, but nothing to the extent of this.
Mm-hmm.
So, they treated us right. We got per diems every day. No one was suffering, but it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
You'd show up to the club every day as early as you could, and we would show up with our own soundboard too.
Damn.
It was that bad. Like we would
These
walk in
guys
there
like, fuck yeah, dude. This is gonna be sick.
basically, we'd be like, "Where's your stereo inputs? That's all we need."
Yeah.
So we would show up, do all that, record everything, listen to the recording the next day on the way to the next show, analyze what's going on, because we're trying to make another product.
Did you travel with your own sound guy too?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So sound guy's off that night, Joel.
So we had our own sound guy. We had 2 guys running video cameras. We had person selling merch, and then 6 band members. Pretty intense. So we had 2 bands or 2 vans. One was the van with the trailer, and the other one was like a Dodge Caravan, something like that. So 6 people in each vehicle, or 5 people in each vehicle. Which for the first 2 weeks of that tour, none of the personnel changed for the first while, and it led to some interesting nights and days. But we did the first tour, went pretty well. Back to Santa Cruz. I think we did another tour in between the second tour that we did, because we ended up doing 2 tours to get a full DVD's worth of material. Also, just at that point, touring twice for an album was not unheard of. A lot of bands would tour for 2 years. So did that. We did a second tour with label mates though. What was that band called? Stolen Babies. Stolen Babies was on the N Records, and who's their drummer? Gil Sharon.
Yeah, he ended up being in Dillinger
for a minute. Yeah, killer drummer, killer guy. But I think when that tour was getting booked, Gil had gotten a call from Travis Barker to sub for his band at the time on a European tour, whatever that band was, not Blink. But so that they basically contacted me and said, "Hey, our drummer's he can't do this tour. So if we can't find someone to do this tour, we can't do this tour, and then you can't do this tour." So basically, at the bequest of the record label and the other band, they basically said, "Can you learn these tunes in double duty?" And I said, "Sure." It's either do that and not go on the tour, or
that's when I saw you at the Elbow Room.
Yeah.
San Francisco.
So.
You did double duty that night with Stolen Babies.
That's right.
And Estradasphere.
You were there with Dan Kenny too, right?
I was, and that's the infamous time that while watching Estradasphere, he was holding his cocktail, and he's just standing there with his mouth open, and then the cocktail just falls right from his hand. His hand's still the same shape of the cup, and then he just looks down, realizes, and just like, oh fuck, but it was one of those moments where his body literally shut down in a way, because he was so hypnotized by what he was seeing, because Dan Kenny is, he's the death metal guy.
Yep.
We're death metal too, but he didn't branch out into that other murky shit that we found during those times.
You can't show Dan Kenny a prog album and be like, "This is gonna be sick, dude."
Yeah, no, you can't. He probably would find parts of it that he would like, but to have a conversation about it, no. So
that's one of my favorite stories. I think you told me that when that happened, that after the show.
And he blamed, and then it got on some person, and he just pointed at me. I had nothing to do with anything, dude. But yeah, that was the time that we hypnotized Dan Kenny with Estradasphere, dude. It was, and I've said it so many times, everybody's gonna fucking be like, oh, and all the real listeners of the show are gonna be like, fuck, here he goes again. But the first time you experience somebody's music in a live setting, and the sound's killer in the Elbow Room, you guys, even though it was a small stage, your package fit on stage. And
big old package.
Yeah, Lee's package specifically. He that's you guys have
Bro's
6
package
people
heat.
on stage. Wait, 6 extra people on your crew. It's really 2 extra people to carry Lee's package up on stage.
I didn't have this on my bingo card.
And but yeah, and so to see it for the first time in a live setting,
See his package? Sorry,
dude. When you see Lee's package for the first time, dude.
Yeah, it's mind blowing, right? Like it's like when you see it live, it just changes. Like
It really
all,
is like
all.
It's like hearing Bungle for the first time, dude.
In person, dude.
So any hoozle, couple tours go down with the Estradasphere.
Yeah, tell us about your package. What you're offering right now.
Let us know about
what are you offering? Yeah,
you got a quarter?
You got tours offered? Yeah.
What's your Venmo?
We did I don't have Venmo.
But I actually listened to Stolen Babies this week again because I remember you being a part of that tour with them, and it's a fun album, dude.
Yeah, they were a fun band. It was fun music to play. Ronnie Sharon, Gil's brother, was super awesome. Great bass player, great dude to hang out with.
Hell yeah.
It was a fun tour, and like I said, it was either learn the set and do double duty or don't do the tour. And what are you gonna do?
They have millions of listens on Spotify. I never listened to them.
Yeah, that the There Be Squabbles Ahead.
Yep,
yeah,
that's the one.
That album is it's fun. It's almost like this weird gothic. There's almost like a No Doubt feel to it.
Definitely gothic, No Doubt.
Yeah,
With,
but
like,
also gets extreme enough to where it touches some metal parts. But she plays she plays that small accordion.
Yeah, little squeeze box.
Like you would see a pirate playing. And the funny thing is, their album's called There Be Squabbles Ahead, and I'm just a total pirate fan too, so I'm just like, this is all me, dude.
What else happened in between there, though? I feel like I'm missing something. God of Shamisen was happening all the while too, so we were jamming and playing shows locally.
When did that get serious though? Like, when did you and Kevin say, okay, we're gonna make this a real thing?
Pretty much as soon as I moved out there.
Yeah.
So we were playing shows. It was at that point, it was me and Kevin and a buddy, Mark Thornton, otherwise known as Arkmay. That guy's probably seen Estradasphere play more than anybody alive.
Love that guy.
If you look him up on YouTube, look up Arkmay. He has just tons of footage of old Estradasphere shows. He used to go on tour with them and just videotape every show.
Sick.
Awesome dude. One of my favorite people.
Part of the MC Wheels crew.
Yeah. Exactly. He worked for Jesse for a long time.
Same with by the way, shout out Cheney from Entheos. She worked for him for a long time as well.
I just found that out the other week, like a week ago or something. I texted Naveen. It's like, is this you? And he's like, yep, what up? So we started talking, and I'd been listening to their pod too. And
nice.
I heard Cheney mention something about caregiving for a guy named Jesse, and I'm like, well, that's fucking Jesse.
Yeah,
so I texted Naveen and asked him, and I actually didn't know how Jesse passed until Naveen told me.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know if you want to.
Let's not talk about
it on here. Okay, yeah.
Well, if it's already has it been spoken on another pod?
Okay, if it's bad, I don't want to talk about it.
Well, we'll talk about. I'll call you sometime. We'll talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about
the new Entheos
record.
Either way,
shout out to
it's about Jesse
podcast.
No,
Entheos literally about Jesse, which is why I can't listen to it for a little while. Yeah, as soon as I heard that, I listened to that. I put on the first song, and it's like I can't really.
By the way, Jesse Houts, I watched actually after he passed. I found out that this podcasting stuff and listened to. He actually interviewed.
He interviewed Trevor. Yeah.
Trevor Sternad from Black Dahlia, and it was actually a really cool. Jesse, let's do a little Jesse Houts thing because the dude was very influential. I mean, for me, you got me the job hanging out with them. It was pretty.
That's what it was.
The job hanging out with them.
It was a job that was. He had a very rare case of muscular
dystrophy. He had a rare third type of muscular dystrophy.
Yeah, that's right. And so basically but all he liked to do was listen to the most cool music, watch the coolest movies, and just chill and talk.
Smoke
That's like
weed.
all, and smoke weed. And like that was like my job was like holding a pipe up to his mouth, lighting it, and we'd hang out and just have like the funniest crack up the whole time, like laughing. We had 16-hour like hangouts for that was the shifts sometimes were 16 hours, and it was basically just like hanging out with a bro, and like he was so knowledgeable, like anything, movies, music, or just pretty much comedy, like everything. Like guy like had everything down.
He was a
Dude, I'd,
full-on
like
media junkie. He knew everything. He'd seen every
Yep.
movie. So every time he'd work with him, he'd be like, "What are we doing tonight?" He's like, "We're watching the entire Lord of the Rings."
yeah, exactly.
It's gonna take all day. It's like, cool, I'm on clock for 16 hours. So let's get weird.
Yeah, man, dude, it sounds like a
such a good
badass
guy.
bro.
I remember seeing like I remember like
binges
he was
like that.
Well, he called himself like when we were hanging out. I'm the most famous cripple in Santa Cruz. He would say that, and I remember he said that one time to me, and and then I went to a bookstore, and there was a Santa Cruz book that was like a hardbound published book. I'm just looking through it real quick, and just a picture of Jesse. It's like I would look through like things that he was like and like the guy from Ween would call him, and like Billy Corgan knows him, and all this like crazy shit.
He wasn't lying.
I went to see Ween open for the Flaming Lips at the Greek Theater in Berkeley, and we were on the fucking guest list.
Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Nuts. Tough day at work.
Well, he also like once like people like maybe you thought they were like, oh, I'll help the handicap guy out, and then you hear him talk, you're like, holy shit, this guy's like one of the most intelligent guys on music or any of the stuff that I've ever heard talk, and that's why I love that.
His body was just fucked, but his brain was totally fucking.
His brain was overly intact.
Yeah,
his brain was overly intact. His body had the issue, but his brain was there and just wanted to hang out with friends, and that's why he like would only hire musicians and people that he wanted to hang out with. Yep. That's the only he wouldn't hang like with anyone. He had David J. Brown, like like crazy psychedelic writer. yeah, I know, like crazy psychedelic writer. That's like one of the more like famous psychedelic what do you call it?
Authors.
Yeah.
Activists.
Yeah, but he just all the most really cool eccentric people, death metal, the Estradasphere, like all these people like working for him and stuff, and just musicians coming in and out. Yeah, that's what he wanted, and people were on tour a bunch, and he would be like, "Fuck yeah, I want that for you." So I will find replacements for in the meantime and go on tour, and then you can go on tour. And he was all about supporting the arts and stuff like that, and it's a one of a kind human being that I think about a lot, actually. Whenever I drive through the Seabright area, it's always full Jesse. Like I can't,
think about that though for a second.
Yeah,
like there's so many other people that have his ailment, but he had a life through that ailment of hanging out with artists that he respected and really surrounded himself with people he could nerd out with, and that is actually the best way you could deal with living life in his condition.
Definitely.
Yeah,
you basically all your not your heroes necessarily, but just like all your stuff you're interested in is coming to you,
basically, and we're all stoked to be there.
Yeah. It also shows to like real underground musicians and how the genuine aspects of humanity are more. Maybe I'm sounding egotistical, but you just find better hearts, bigger hearts in our bubble, Yeah,
I worked with that guy for a long time. Basically after I started working at Toys R Us in Santa Cruz, I was going over to his house every other day. If I wasn't at the Furniture Dome, I was at Jesse's house.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Why don't you come work for me?" And I'm like, "Okay."
What was this podcast called? I'm looking for it right now. I can't find it.
By the way, it sounds you sound so much.
Hold on. Anthony, what was it called?
Jesse Ray something.
Jesse Ray. Then maybe I'll look for Trevor or something.
I mean,
but no.
To hear that a Bungle fan stayed was at 3 places: Toys R Us, Jesse's, and the Furniture Dome. That sounds like the combination of all the chaos that you would find in a Mr. Bungle album.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Really.
Fucking rad. So yeah, like before, I think it was before the last. No, it was after the last tour. My girlfriend Sierra moved out to California. It was back in the day when you don't like,
Hey, Sierra.
you'd only. I tried to date California girls when I moved to California, and it didn't work. And then I get on MySpace, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing? I used to know you." How you
From
doing?
Georgia?
Yeah, I'm in
All
the
right.
band. I'm in Santa Cruz.
What's up? Check me
Got all
out.
this weed. Why don't you come out
I
here?
have access to weed, and I'm a rock and roll legend.
Basically. So she moved out to Santa Cruz shortly before Estradasphere relocated. I think we were in Santa Cruz for like maybe 8 to 10 months after she moved there. So yeah, basically, I skate, you skate. So Estradasphere decided to relocate because those guys had been in Santa Cruz for 10 years, and that's a long time to be in Santa Cruz, right?
Yeah.
So we put up two ideas. One was Portland, Oregon, and one was Seattle. So we settled on Seattle. There was a warehouse in the Ballard neighborhood north of Seattle that was run by a group of guys called the Sun City Girls.
That's right.
They were a really obscure band from Seattle, and one of the guys, the leader, I believe his name was Alan, had a record label called I don't even know what it was called, but he would basically go to other countries and find music that no one has ever documented or heard, and sign bands and print records. So it was everything from all over the world. African boogie, funk from Ethiopia, weird shit like that. So they had this collective, they had this warehouse that they all lived in and practiced out of, and it was also kind of the size to have a venue in.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to move up there, and also at that point on the last Estradasphere tour, we were playing at the fucking Middle East. We all know the Middle East. Shithole Club, good restaurant, Shithole Club.
No, Middle East. It's a club, right?
Yeah, is
Not
that
in the Middle East?
I totally thought he was talking about playing.
I know that's what I'm saying. We have to clarify.
No, playing at the Middle East. I forget where it is. Where's Boston? Thank you. We're playing at the Middle East, and Amanda Palmer is in the club, the girl from the Dresden Dolls, and she's there with that Jason guy who also put out that one record that you're talking about earlier, Anthony.
Yeah.
So they walk in when we're playing the encore, which is Hunger Strike. So Estradasphere is such a fucking joke of a band. Like, we would play 2 sets and then play a 30-minute one song.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Hunger Strike's a fucking 20+ minute song.
The rendition we were playing on that tour,
and the live version,
30 minutes.
that was the encore.
Really?
Every club hated us. Be like, all right, we played for 2 hours already. Here's the encore. It's 30 minutes.
That's what cracks me up about Estradasphere is like the militant practicing, being on your P's and Q's, all the shit. Like, all right, we're doing this time now. We're creating now. It's like, but dude, we're super funny. Like, live, we're all funny. Like, we're not,
and not only
like,
that, just 2.5 hours of playing. Like, you guys, there's such a physical aspect to that.
And it's funny how much like Cephalic Carnage like absolutely loves the Stratosphere, and obviously we all do as well. But like, they're like a funny metal band as well. That like that's very serious, and a lot of the parts are very like, damn, what the fuck are they doing? Like, it's one of my favorite bands of all time. But like the fact that they like seeing Steve, who's the bro, but like watching him the fucking Stratosphere, he's like, I need all the Stratosphere merch. He was like all about a Stratosphere, and I was like, fuck yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Like them
they were in the
being
family,
kind of just wacky, kind of like, but crazy and proficient and like all the things under the sun. But I like basically
I still cherish my Estradasphere shirt that you guys gave me so much.
I've been looking to buy one.
It's my prized possession.
Know where to buy them. Let me know. I wouldn't mind having another one.
No, you're looking for one. If Lee's looking for one, then I'm not finding one.
Yeah, no, it's hard. It is hard to find a Stratosphere.
No, you can't find them. You can't.
Merch,
I
dude.
looked, I went
and I'm so grateful to have been exposed to the band at a time where, these live DVDs that we're talking about right now.
Yeah, we were in full swing at that point. Yeah.
You can't find that shit anymore, dude. Like
Yeah.
it. Even if you want to go on Discogs, you know, some dude in Germany is gonna jack you for $75 or something.
Whoa,
you know?
dude! What are you talking about?
I could have said another word
Oh.
besides jack.
You go over here and some guy jacks you for $75, dude.
I could have said,
Good deal, actually.
you know, something that's
You need to get it out.
Does he have a sweet accent or anything?
no, but I'm saying Germany actually fucks you with a lot of
Jesus,
California.
He fucks you and jacks you.
Jesus
Sorry,
Christ.
Dude,
So
they fuck you and
Anthony, you
jack
need
you,
to
and they
stick up for yourself a little
I'm going to
more.
say the R word in a second if you don't calm me down. But
So hyped up.
It's a family restaurant, sir.
But they know what they got. That's a situation of where they know what they got, and there's these nerds like me who want the physical media still.
Oh yeah,
you know, and I'm just lucky to have my Estradasphere collection before anybody tried to gouge me. I could use so many other words right now, but gouge is a new one.
Yeah.
You know?
I got lucky with
$200.
all those hookups too. Like I remember going to see Cephalic Carnage at the Pound. They were playing with Brujeria or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went to the show, and of course, like I go straight up to the merch table, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm the new drummer for Estradasphere," and they're like, "Holy shit, come over here!"
No, that's the key word. That's the key word. You can come back. You can come back.
So like, I just
Yeah,
remember
dude.
partying at backstage at the Pound. We're hanging out with fucking Shane Embury and fucking Tony Loreno because they're playing in Brujeria.
Fuck yeah.
I think I sold Pinche a bag of weed too.
He
Great
just
night.
passed. The singer just passed, correct?
Yeah, sad.
yeah,
Pinche passed first
RIP.
too. Rough
That's
times.
right
for
before that.
Brujeria, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
Rough times. Sad. Cheers to those dudes. Rest in
Well,
peace.
cheers. Fuck yeah. Anthony's just gone. Anyways. Yeah.
So yeah, what where was I? We did the T-Lo's the fucking greatest.
He took my shower in Montreal.
I saw
And I'm so
Now
mad
play
about it.
so many times at the Masquerade growing up. That guy's sickest.
Yeah, we got to get into Masquerade because the Masquerade was kind of your pound, like out there. That's
definitely.
That was pretty much. And you were around for the Pound too. Around for the Pound. But
yeah,
you were
I was at that Origin show, that one where Longstreth came back.
Mm-hmm.
I was at that same Dragon Force show that the professor was at too. Where the hell's the professor tonight?
Oh no, you mean Carrie was at the one that was at the Pound. That was right before they got humongous, right? The first.
I was listening to an episode the other night though. The professor was at that same show too.
Oh, okay. Carrie got kicked out for having a beer in his hand and being 20. But and like the Hells Angels guys like put like a big X on his hand with the darkest marker, like the thickest marker you've ever seen in your life, like X. You're not allowed in, and we had to like rub it off. We had to go to Dead Hooker Park, which was right next door. That's what they call it. And that area is like gnarly. But anyways,
it was back then.
Yeah, we basically dressed him up. We had people change clothes with him and like wear like sideways. He had to wear a sideways hat, walk in like different. And the guy that kicked him out was the door guy. So he had to be like, "What up, dude?" Because our buddy Lewis, like, remember Lewis? There was a guy named Lewis who's like a kind of a nuisance in our group, but we loved him. But he was like, dude, he basically like changed clothes. He swapped clothes with them, and we scrubbed his hands as hard as we could and got him in. But anyways.
He tried to you almost got me saying some shit. Who cares, dude? Nobody fucking knows Lewis. He tried to hit on Bryce.
No, he hit on everyone. Like that was a story with him, dude.
I know, but he was totally early that he was like a girlfriend stealer, or he's a vulture. He's waiting for a relationship to end so he could
swoop in, pick up the
circling.
Yeah, we all know dudes like that for sure.
Yeah. That's definitely that's a move.
Greasy move.
But that was what I was getting at, Anthony, with the Masquerade, because the Masquerade is like one of the cooler venues. And actually I remember like playing there and they were about to we're talking about the Masquerade is gonna leave.
Well, you already talking about it. Just catch me up.
Oh, so the Masquerade was basically he always leaves every time Lee leaves. But Masquerade was like it is, which I remember it was going to close during the pandemic or something, as last I heard, and it's still around, which is awesome. But
it's the Santa Cruz.
It's the Atlanta Pound. It's the Atlanta Pound. It's like where all the they had multiple stages. Like I played there 4 or 5 times, and it was like always packed, like always awesome. Like it was basically the Pound out there in the middle of Atlanta, and it was I remember actually, not getting political, but I remember I was there. We were on tour with the Faceless and a bunch of bands, and it was an election night when Obama got elected for the first time. It was in November, election night, and dudes were just driving by, just shooting gnarly, like shooting like guns. Yeah, dude. It was and then we were like, holy shit. And then we went to Denny's that night, and everyone just left. Like no one, all the cooks and everything were just like, we're out. They just like bailed, and it was like, I remember me and Michael Keane like just passed out like at a table waiting for like pancakes for like 2.5 hours. And they finally came, but they're like, sorry, like everyone just like left. So we had to like.
Have you ever really lived? Have you ever really lived if you aren't passing out at a Denny's at some point in your life?
We were so hungry, dude, that we were just like, what? We're gonna go somewhere else, dude? No, like a band with like 2 bands with all these people, like we're not going anywhere else. So we're just basically stuck. So what I was getting at was,
sorry, I had to pee.
That's fine.
I miss you so much, man. Jesus
dude,
Christ.
I hear Joel calling me out every time I take a piss though too. I could still hear it in the headphones. Joel's like, "Oh, Anthony left again." I'm just like, dude.
Well, yeah, because you're pissing in a bottle next to the fucking mic.
You motherfucker, dude.
Let's not go behind the veil here.
No, I guess he wants to break the fourth wall. Yeah, it's fucking a long ways to a bathroom where I'm.
At least his name.
He said he wasn't going to do it. He said he wasn't going to do it.
I just muted him for half a second.
Jesus.
Watch him. Watch Anthony. Watch him boil.
You have every right to be mad.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you. I got fucking backup. But
with
banana hand, dude. You just heard Lee tell you that.
Stop this madness.
All right, fine.
All right, we got.
But talking about the Masquerade. Masquerade was your like spot probably, right? Like growing up.
Yeah, first time I got my ass kicked in a mosh pit was at the Masquerade. For sure.
Nice.
I saw Fugazi play there. I saw Faith No More play there. I saw Nile play there. I saw Cryptopsy. I saw everybody play there. Everybody played there.
Yeah. Sounds like the Pound to me, right? That's pretty much what like those kind of bands would hit the Pound. That was like their tour.
I'm grateful for all those types of places, dude. A small spot that the underground can come through and have.
There are big spots.
I saw Faith No More play outdoors there when they got back together. It was fucking awesome.
Sick.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
I saw Faith No More, and the opener was an all-gay clogging team.
Amazing.
That's right.
Yeah, dude. It was actually.
Was it just like more like were they doing like shoe sounds? Or
yeah. When I say clogging, they're wearing the fucking clogs, the wooden shoes, and they're doing.
It was shoegaze, dude.
I mean,
shoegaze. Oh my god.
They're just looking
clog gaze, dude.
Anyway. So yeah, that was my. I've seen everything there. There's a bunch of.
Dude, there's so many layers in what just happened, guys. Like, rewind it back and realize what just happened right now.
Well, you're talking about shoes and you said shoegaze, and then I went back to it was like an all-gay.
But think about shoegaze, and I said it was an all-gay clogging team. Shoegaze. Come on, guys.
The layers. It's like an onion.
It's like a really thin onion, dude.
It's like a green onion. Any hoozle.
Yeah. Lee, take us back on track, Lee.
Second or third any hoozle from Lee, though.
I think I'm gonna keep
that's Lee's way of like, all right, dude, I'm taking us out of the lead.
I listen to this podcast. If you need a mediator, if you need like a guest,
anytime you want to just jump in, if we see you, we'll give you the link to all the future podcasts, and if you just want to jump in and be like, hey guys, get together.
You're doing great, but cut the shit. Get your
that would be so funny if Lee's just waiting for him to pop in and pop out to say that.
Oh, like, if I see Lee pop in, I'm like, I'll just cut everyone off. Like, oh, hold on, we got Lee here. He's like, hey guys, sounds good, but cut the shit. And just
shit. Get back on track.
Dude, that's the whole point of this shit, dude. Is we don't know where the fuck we're going.
I'm gonna tell a quick story real quick. A quick story that's hilarious, but it's like the story,
real quick. Just real quick.
It's kind of real quick. Just real 30 minutes. Real 30 minutes. But this guy like at a place I worked, he was like this like kind of nerdy guy, but he was like kind of in like kind of confident, and this girl that was there, he found out they just broke up. Like he broke up with the wife, and they broke up, whatever, divorced. And so he went up to him. He's all, "Hey, let's cut the shit. You're single. I'm single. Let's go on." And just walked up to her, just walk up to her, just like, "Hey, let's cut the shit." He's also like a very like a chill, standoffish guy. He's all, "I'm gonna go for it, dude. Hey, let's cut the shit." Like she's like, "What the fuck?" And she's like, "What the fuck is going on?" She like went to like HR was involved, but anyway, just telling a girl, "Hey, he's basically saying like, hey, I don't want to like work on this.
Cut the shit. I have a penis. You have a vagina.
What does cut the shit even mean, dude?
It's like let's not beat around the bush.
That's a good question.
No, I understand. We know what it means, but
yeah, it's a normal term. Cut the shit. You just cut shit.
Cut.
Like that's what I'm saying. Knife. The origin of
a knife or a sword. You can like throw it up in the air and like cut it.
Okay, dude.
Slice the shit. That'd be slice the shit.
We're breaking down a cut the shit.
It's just a bunch of ding dongs here.
Let's cut the shit and fucking get the fuck out of the weeds right now. I got something.
This is the first time Anthony's got me out of the weeds.
Again, I'm happy to be the least viewed guest on this podcast.
Oh no, this is
we're gonna get halfway through this and just clock out.
No,
I'll tell you that Spotify is most listens.
Next week we're gonna numbers. Next week for our Plug a Human segment, we're gonna be plugging Lee Smith to make sure that people come back.
Dude, I'll pop in anytime, except for by like 10 o'clock normally on a Thursday. I'm usually like in my jammers, ready for Betty Buys.
Dude, Betty Buys.
Never heard that.
Betty Buys, dude.
Like it's late right now. I can't remember the last time I was up this late on a Thursday. It's probably last Thursday actually.
Is it 1:03
of
it? Yeah. Jesus. I remember my first beer.
Jesus doesn't need to know I'm here right now.
Well, let's all right, so let's just get back on track a little bit by talking about that.
Yeah, jammers on.
What came from those tours? You guys did this whole production, right? And you were recording every night.
Yeah, so we got the DVD out. That happened, but that last show, like I was saying, not last show, but that one show at the Middle East in Boston, Amanda Palmer was there, and we were in the middle of playing Hunger Strike, and she just walked in the club, and I distinctly remember her face watching us play that song. She's just standing there with her jaw open, and she ended up talking to us after the show, and was like, "Hey, I'm so and so. I play in this band. I'm making a solo record. Blah blah blah." So we're like, "Let's talk." So we got in cahoots with her and started working on her solo record called like "Who Killed Amanda Palmer" or something. So
which is sorry, gotta fucking.
Go ahead.
I can't pass it up, dude. Who Killed Laura Palmer is the original, and that comes from Twin Peaks.
Exactly.
Dude. The greatest fucking television show ever done.
Yeah, this is a 4-micro counter. That's a deep.
All right, so keep going with that though. I want to hashtag David Lynch, dude. The greatest.
So we ended up doing a record for her. We recorded a lot of the stuff in the aforementioned warehouse that the Sun City Girls had. So basically, we had her in Seattle when we first moved there, and we're going hard, making a record, rehearsing. We actually did a few live shows, which are probably on YouTube. There's a really funny one of her playing the song "Coin Operated Boy," where Adam from Estradasphere is playing. It's a duet. Boy. It's her singing, and it's Adam from Estradasphere playing accordion, and she's kind of like chasing him around this bedroom.
Whoa.
And he's being Adam, which is very awkward and white. And eventually it ends up with like her pinning him on the bed and shutting the lights off. It's hilarious. I have mixed feelings about her because that relationship kind of went south. We did the record with her.
So did you. You went south, dude. Fucking left me.
Back to Georgia.
It's your fucking fault. You would carry both in your fucking leases in the same like 2 weeks. That's why we left fucking California. Because you would
really?
You're the fucking reason. You're the reason all of it fell apart, Joel.
It was me. I had no idea. This is some. Actually, let's get down to the drama of this.
We're getting there. We'll get there.
Hour four. We'll get there.
Interview part 2.
I'm ready for it all, dude.
So we did the Amanda Palmer record, and like I said, I don't really know what happened, but things weren't really what they seemed at the end of the record. I definitely played on that record. At least a song. Basically, it kind of it devolved to like something about points or something like contracts. She wanted us to like sign our stuff away when we had put a lot of time into recording and creating this record with her.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, after that happened, the band started dropping like flies. Adam, the accordion player, keyboard player, was the first to quit Estradasphere. And it was just logical. It's like, look, dude, this is fucking crazy. We're all nuts. There's no way this is good for anything.
Yeah.
So that happened. Then Kevin kind of left the band and moved back to Japan. So the band kind of dissolved from there. I lived in Seattle a little bit longer. Jason Schimmel at that point was putting out his solo record, the first record of his called The Orange Tulip Conspiracy.
Yep.
Horrible name, great album. I think I played on that album a little bit. I think. I had a few of the songs, metal songs. We actually did some songs at like Sharkbite Studios.
Yeah.
With Billy Anderson as the engineer.
Okay.
It was one of the studios that Zach worked at, but he did that session.
Yeah.
I didn't meet Zach until I did that Decrepit Bird session, but that's after the fact. So we did a few sessions with Billy Anderson, which is he was kind of a legendary engineer producer back on the day. He actually played in the Melvins, if you're familiar with the Melvins, specifically the album Houdini. I don't know if you're like me and you saw the music video for Honey Bucket and you're fucking fucked up for days. He was the bass player in that record.
Did Jesse get you in the Melvins?
Right now.
Was my brother Jesse. Yeah.
No, Jesse.
Jesse.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I've been listening to Melvins for probably 10 years.
Never got into them, but a lot of people like that I respect love them.
Dig into it, man. Pick up the album Houdini and listen to it. Listen to it front to back. Don't listen to songs. Listen to it front to back.
Okay.
Especially Honey Bucket. That song fucking rips.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people I respect are always like, dude, Melvins, like fucking.
If you haven't listened to the Melvins, listen to Houdini.
I mean, I've listened to random like Spotify, like listen to random song here, like not front to back or anything. So I'll check that out.
So yeah, I did a few sessions with Billy Anderson for that Orange Tulip Conspiracy record, which was great. Actually, at the time when we were in Seattle before Estradasphere dissolved, Kevin Metz, the shamisen player for Estradasphere, was doing some crazy shit. He was pandering very hard to the Japanese community about God of Shamisen. So before I left Seattle, Kevin actually locked down a record deal with EMI Japan for a God of Shamisen album.
Damn,
which is fucking insane.
Right? Yeah, it's like buckethead shit.
It's nuts.
Yeah,
huge distro. So at that point, I'm like, fucking finally something might happen here. Like we might be able to do something. At that point, I'm like, I'll fucking move to Japan. Whatever.
Yeah.
I love smoking weed, but Japan
You'll
sounds
give it
great.
up because
So basically, EMI Japan gave Kevin $30,000 to record a fucking record.
Damn,
dude.
So what did we do? We flew everybody from excuse me.
No, I just threw it. You guys flew everyone where?
To Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle.
So two of the band members at the time lived in California. Arkmay, like I mentioned earlier, Mark Thornton, and Carl Schneider. How do I say Carl's last name? Schneider. So we flew them up to Seattle to record an album for EMI Japan. We hired Billy Anderson as the producer.
Holy shit.
We chose what was the studio? I don't know what it was. Legendary Studio in Seattle. It's where Nirvana recorded Bleach.
I was gonna say Nirvana.
Jack Endino is the engineer. I have to look it up.
I'll look it up. Keep talking.
So there's a hilarious video about it too. We did like a video about it and put it on YouTube of us recording that record. It's total nuts. It's a total like utter retarded cream dream. You get $30,000 to make a record, so we did it, and we did it.
That's a new car, dude.
I know. That's like
back then. That's like a high end car.
Well, it's not like I'm buying Cadillacs. It's like I'm gonna go buy a new China cymbal and a dozen drumsticks, and then we're gonna spend all this money recording at Jack Endino's studio in Seattle. So he literally had the guitar amp that Bleach was recorded on. Like I touched it.
Wow.
Yeah, wild shit. So we did that, and of course it fucking bombed. It fucking tanked because it's a metal Shamisen album getting released in Japan and the bands from the West Coast of the United States. So, we did that. Did a couple tours that got a Shamisen too that were really fun. That band was always the funnest to tour with because it was just a free for all. Kevin was just out of his mind at best all the times. He still look at his YouTube channel. Look up Shamisen Demon on YouTube, and you'll find him. He's still putting out fucking videos like every day.
Is it Reciprocal Recording Studio, by the way?
Reciprocal? I don't know. I don't even know.
I'm glad I looked it up.
Yeah, great job, Joel. Real good work.
That's how you do it. 203 episodes in, dude.
It was a hard. I was looking it up and it's like, oh, did you mean this? And I was like, no, but I'll look it up. And anyways, keep going.
I don't even know. We could probably find it on the YouTube video. There's a whole video of us recording that.
It says it was their Reciprocal Recording Studio in Seattle. Jack and Dino. This is the main sessions for Bleach took place there. I don't know what that means.
So for the listeners who have not experienced what we're talking about, explain the Palace of Mirrors DVD and what you guys were trying to accomplish.
Okay.
With those tours and all the footage that you.
So there was a whole script that kind of like went along with the movie, and this is a really vague telling. You're better off asking Smullins this because he.
And I'm sure
we did.
I know, dude, but this is 203 episodes in, and I can't recall any of that.
For all
the drinking and smoking.
Now. Yeah. Basically, it was like I remember Smullins and Schimmel being two scientists, and working on this project. Basically to like try to crack through another dimension or something, and all the while there's like an evil man in a mansion who was played by Jesse Houts, MC Wheels.
Houts, shut up.
And he had like some damsel that was like with him or something, which was actually the girl that played Cinderella at the season of UCSC. So there was a season at UCSC where they needed a ensemble for a production of Cinderella, and Estradasphere got the gig. It was like me and Smullins and Timba and Adam and a classical pianist doing like in tuxes on stage 25 shows a month for UCSC version of Cinderella. We actually did 2 of them. They called us back for another one. Best paying gig I've had on the drums.
Wow.
So that girl, I think her name was Shoshana or something. She was like the damsel in the evil man's cahoots. And if you look at the album cover, it's actually a fractured mirror that's a me and her, and I'm like holding her face because like apparently I was like the love interest at this wine mixer that she ran away with, and then something happened between the evil man and the scientists, and I got sucked through a wormhole, which is what all the weird super out music was on Palace of Mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically all I can recall. And they wanted to like make a movie out of this in a double LP. And it's like,
so I made the mistake of talking to Tim about this, and I was like, because I remember kind of feeling or hearing kind of the back end of the amount of money that was spent on that, and that was kind of like the beginning of the end of.
It wasn't healthy.
And Tim kind of shot that down. I remember Tim shooting that down, but I remember like that was like
that's what he told me too. That's why you knew it. Because I remember him telling me we spent like fucking 15 to 18K on those tours in that DVD.
Yeah.
And that might not have been true, but that's literally what was told to me.
Damn, that's a lot of money for.
It's enough to ruin a band and make it break up. And
Especially
when you. Well, at the time when we were in Seattle, we were working with Amanda Palmer, and we were having shows. We were putting on productions. Like that was their home. That was where all these guys lived, and we were packing with like 60 people in this tiny room. Watching Amanda Palmer. So just wild shit. But yeah, enough to break any band down. Like we tried. We gave that shit all we had. I remember when we were in Seattle, I was like managing the social media. So I'd be like sorting through emails that would bounce back from the newsletters and like managing the social media at the same time, like the MySpace or Facebook or whatever it was at that time. It was a job. The fucking Catalina wine mixer.
I meant it's 2 minutes ago. Sorry. Yeah.
It's unfortunate, dude, but I mean, I'm still grateful for the longevity of that band as a thing for as long as it was. And if things are going to dissolve after that, you guys hit that peak, I think, with Palace of Mirrors, dude.
Yeah, it just got to.
Or I shouldn't say you hit your peak. You could have, if you kept on going, then obviously what would have happened after that, we don't know. But it as a trajectory, you see it as a
it's a good coup de grace. I mean, a corporate merger is literally in my top 3 songs of all time. That's that's literally one of my favorite songs. I listened to that. I've listened to that since I heard it the first time. Since I listened to it, every other month, which for a band that from that long ago, just to throw that on, that you want to hear that song, and then you want the up. I love the ups and downs. It reminds me of kind of like an Opeth or like some sort of like it's a story. I love the
snare drum that was recorded on the head, like that. That little rhythm right there, that's the funk rhythm. Short, long, short.
Yeah, you were telling me about that rhythm. What was the time signature in that rhythm? Remember, that's whenever I hear that. Yeah, you told me it was like 17 something, and I was like,
I don't even fucking know.
Yeah, at the time, around that time when you guys were to play it live, probably because it wasn't when you guys were recording, and I apologize about making that live. But I remember that because that song just spoke to me, dude. I loved how it started off sweet and beautiful, and then gets into this hyper. It's maybe from like taking psychedelics and stuff. That's how that feels to me. It's
we used to joke at the end. By the time it turns to like the metal part, it's like just fucking Turkish grindcore. It's like fucking motorcycles going up jumps with fucking fireballs in the back.
I've literally like I'm not even lying to you. I've literally cried to the part with the where it's Timba and the metal part going. I literally like because I get so I'm already getting goosebumps right now. Just like saying it. Oh, yeah. It's great. It literally. It hits me. That's like one of the parts in a song. If you listen, to the beginning and then get to that part, like I'm like, fuck. It's so. You want to know the crazy part about
that song? Yeah. Casey, that studio we recorded the Got a Shamisen improv in. Mm-hmm. That's the same studio I recorded half of Palace of Mirrors in. Well, probably all of it actually. That's where all the drums were recorded.
Oh really?
But, it was like we set up that day. Because we were there just to run drums. We set up that day, and I remember when we started tracking Palace of Mirrors, I started because it had the most vicious click track you've ever heard of. It was just the entire time. Mm-hmm. So we started, before you start recording at any time, you do some test tracks or whatever. And I remember Smolens, like he's like, all right, let's try a corporate merger. So we start tracking it, and he just stops me like a minute and a half in or like 2 minutes in or something like that. He's like, if you're going to play like that, I'm just going to start recording. So the next time he pressed record, one take all the way through, start to stop, that entire song.
Dude, that song's like literally like honestly like in all music in my life. That's one of my favorite songs of all time. It's like top 3 of anything.
I always try and add a special little snippet on my stories when I do the tomorrow or whatever I do on Instagram. I make it personal with what you hear with my stories, right? And there's this one little spot in Corporate Merger that just makes me feel so good, and it's when things start to really get metal.
Yeah.
And but I love the projection of the song. It's so smooth how
the transition goes through.
Yeah, it's not
good. It's not turn on a dime anywhere. It's just this gradual, like you're being led through something.
And just how it slides back into that intro again, like so smoothly. I think that for me, that's the most impressive thing. Like it goes like smooth intro. It's like kind of down.
But there's also like
it slowly builds up and it gets into the peak, and then it takes you back down the hill again. and then just drops you off. It's like, hey, you got it. Like,
And
you're
there's
like,
the
what the fuck was that? Like, you're like,
there's the
it's
nod
like a
to
crazy adventure.
jazz. There's the nod to jazz where everybody in the band gets their own little spot to shine.
Yeah, Shamisen's got one. There's
Clavinet
got
solo,
one.
guitar solo,
100%.
the
As a
violin's kind of
package,
soloing the entire time.
Yeah.
Totally, dude.
God, that fucking violin and that shit. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's
Anyways,
a wild song.
that's so that's actually why I had you here. Just talk about that song, not about our friendship.
Sick. All right.
So all right, see ya. No, it's so I didn't actually, because it's funny, because when we were living together and all that stuff, that didn't hit me yet. So when I actually finally took that album on, it's literally like front to back one of my favorite albums of all time. I listened to it. I had to like do a bunch of like wedding and stuff, and had to like do a bunch of gardening and all stuff to get like the site correct. And that's all I listened to was Estradasphere the whole time.
Hell yeah, man!
It was just like, and I was thinking about like, oh, Santa Cruz. This is I'm in the Santa Cruz Mountains, so kind of in Corlitas, but it just felt correct for what I'm doing in this area to listen to this music. And
I still listen to
know
Odious all the time when I'm at work too.
Oh yeah. What are you doing nowadays?
I work for an interior design studio.
Oh, sex stuff. So that's awesome. What do you do for them though?
Warehouse management, project coordination, installation management, you name it, whatever the day is, I wear a different shirt. So it's
multiple hats. Yeah. That's
my
awesome.
back is broken.
Nice. That's cool, man. I
worked in
mean,
beer for a long time too, so that was fun.
I saw you. The picture that I had to choose besides the hot dog or the sausage one was a beer one, right?
Yeah, I was at the Wrecking Bar. If you're ever in Atlanta, go to the Wrecking Bar.
Okay, check it out.
Brew pub.
Oh yeah.
In the cellar.
Were you
there.
into a brewing at all? Or was it just like
I did everything short of brewing the beer.
Okay.
Cleaning tanks, transferring beer, everything. Yeah.
Oh,
fun
yeah.
industry,
Awesome,
but it sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're ever in Atlanta, go to Wrecking Bar. Wrecking Bar.
I would love to come visit you guys, man. I miss you guys so much.
You should move to Nashville like everyone else is. All of y'all.
I don't want to do that.
Savannah. How far is Savannah from Atlanta?
It's about 4 hours south.
Okay.
Because I'd love to. If I did a Georgia trip to see you, I got to see Hunter too. Because
Hunter.
Tight, dude.
Oh shit, we got to talk about Hunter too. His honeymoon or his bachelor party was at one of the Atlanta Estradasphere shows. Yeah, far out fucking trip on that guy. Because I remember listening to Canvas Solaris at the furniture dome with y'all. That's where we heard about it.
Yeah.
Sierra is better than me. She's a way
I have a
fucking
fucking
than I am.
Oh, it's a sloth.
Yeah,
the fucking ground sloth.
Dude.
Hell yeah.
There's deep history in that sloth, dude.
Oh,
so okay.
Yeah,
go get it, dude. And I'll do a intro on it. So
wait, he has the sloth?
Not the sloth.
Sloth?
Just listen to the story. So Hunter and Canvas Solaris have been something we've talked about so many times, dude. And we talked about the videos you would come across on YouTube where they had the ground sloth. It was
on stage, like a cardboard cutout.
Yeah, it was like a prop they put up when they would play live. And when we got Hunter on, we talked about it, and he was like, "Oh man, I don't know. I think somebody had it and put it in storage or whatever."
He thought he had it though. He was like, I think I have it. And I'm like, dude, I will buy that from you
right now.
Me and Carrie used to watch that as kids in his room with the ground sloth, like ripping the different song names off, and I'm like, that is the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life, with no singer, just like they just rip a thing off a ground sloth. And I'm like, that is fucking amazing, dude. So brilliant, and he's like, I think I have it. I'll send it to you. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, and he couldn't find it. And then
and so he couldn't find it. So then, as a birthday present, Hunter hits me up and says, "Hey, when's Joel's birthday?" And I tell him it's
July 27th.
27th.
Damn, dog.
Look at Lee coming through.
It's Sierra's birthday too.
Oh, that's right.
That's an easy way to remember.
I forget about that. Fuck yeah. I know we used to wish each other happy birthdays every time.
And then he said, I said it's this, and he's like, okay, what's his address? And we actually have footage of you opening it up too, dude.
Really?
Do you remember?
I remember seeing this and being like,
we were hammered.
I remember opening this and being like, and you're like, dude, that's from fucking Canvas Solaris for the ground sloth. I couldn't find it, and I'm like, Damn, that's like a deep cut fucking gift
So
where you're like,
that's
shit.
the kind of human
Yeah.
Hunter is, that he went and had something made for you, dude, because you couldn't find what you were
That's
talking
huge to
about.
me.
Yeah, I've never even met Hunter, and of course I watched the episode he was on. And,
I'm lucky to get a couple times a month a check-in from him. Me and him
give him my number, man.
each other.
Yeah,
Dude, I will totally.
Is he in Georgia still?
Yeah, he's still down there. He's drumming for Agalock.
I heard about that. That's sick.
Yeah,
Jason's the fucking man. I love that dude.
And Casey ran into him at the airport.
Yeah, I did.
Randomly.
So random.
I remember seeing. I read or I heard about that on what episode you talk about it on?
Like 973.
That's it was so fun because I got texts from Hunter and Casey at the same time, and it was both pictures of them.
Bro, look where I'm at. Look who I'm with.
I was like, oh, dude, I got FOMO. I was like, I wish I was there, dude.
Yeah, super fun.
I just remember ripping on Hunter as soon as I got in touch with him, because if you're from Georgia and you know the city that Canvas is from, Statesboro, Georgia, there's a college from there called Georgia Southern, and it's mainly just natural light drinking good old boys. Nothing comes out of there except for chuggers and fucking construction engineers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when we heard that band, it's like, they're from Statesville. What is it? Statesboro. It's like, holy crap! Finally, something good came out of that shithole.
Dude, so Hunter also does a podcast. I don't know if you know, Lee.
Radical Research or whatever, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I've dug into that a little bit too.
Nice.
Totally, dude. It's a nice little treasure trove for us weirdos. You know,
right.
They shine light on some things that either we love or haven't paid attention to or come across.
Well, that's why I like the Cali Death podcast so much, man. Like, I feel like I missed out so much by not knowing about it for the first 2 years it existed. So it's all these good episodes, like the Mike Caputo and all these dudes. You know, all these people I had no idea who they were. And now, following them and watching them.
What? It's we're glad you. I didn't even know you would have been. I don't know where you've been, dude. I haven't talked to you in so long, so it's like I don't know if you've ever come across this, but that's sick that you have still 2 years of knowing about it and done your backlog and all that kind of shit. I
listen to it almost every day, honestly. So luckily, there's so many episodes that you can just start from the bottom and go up.
Well, dude, that's super cool to hear too. Just because we've been doing this shit for so long, and it's I'm glad we're still listenable.
Well, to me, it's like, I don't know. It's also refreshing because it's just the homies talking with people that I'd want to talk to. Like, y'all done some monumental
and that's what
episodes.
That's what we're trying to do every week, dude. And that's what I'm saying. It's just like, if we're still listenable, dude, I'm having fun doing it. But
definitely, I'm having fun listening. The Luke LeMay episode is still my favorites.
I don't know. Dude, Luke, there's this.
And every time it's brought up, dude, I just gotta say, like, that's the first English interview of Luke, long form. Yeah.
Wow.
There's no long form.
Obscure. I saw Gorguts play with Cannibal Corpse last October. It was fucking awesome.
That's so good.
He's a great dude. Show. Luke's super sick, and saw him in person after that. He's the exact same person.
Sweetheart.
Hanging out with all his fans, dude.
The best quote from that episode is, "Officer, we're jamming and the flag is on fire."
Dude. and
Luke LeMay on acid calling the cops on himself.
Dude, I need to re-listen to that.
I know Joel's on the same wavelength as me, dude. We, as far as we've gone with this thing, we should be remembering more. We've done it.
Oh, Troy rated us? Thank you, Troy played a thing.
Wait, Troy's fucking twitching again, dude? What up, dude?
Like, oh no, might have been back in the day. Sorry. Anyways,
back in the day.
Didn't this podcast start out with Casey and Professor though?
It was Casey Professor.
One episode, and then
yeah,
I was the first guest.
You're like, we need some people to muddy these waters up.
once you go, Anth, you can't go back. We were just like, oh, we gotta have Anth.
No, my episode, I think it was episode 3 or 4 where I joined, and it was
No,
it was a
3,
decrepit,
dude.
decrepit episode. Yeah, it was 3.
It's never been the
And I
same.
was so
since.
nervous. I drank a 12-pack of IPAs in that episode.
Joel was sober.
And a 12-pack of IPAs. But I rewatched it kind of recently, and I'm like, yeah, totally. Yeah, that's how it goes. But I was like,
try-harding super hard at the
and I
beginning.
was totally not drunk. I wasn't going like, yeah,
Chill out, bro.
Let's get through this.
So
I'm
what
like,
it go?
I'm like,
It went
yeah.
Deeds, Diego. Diego was 2, right?
You get Diego
No.
in here right now? I want to meet that
Diego
guy.
was not 2.
Who's 2?
He was like 4.
That's probably not now.
Text him. I want to say what's up to that guy.
We
It
can.
was
None of
like-
us can remember the first 4 episodes of the show.
I do.
guys, now, right?
done hundreds of
I'm
them.
explaining it.
All right. Explain it. What is it? It was
Deeds,
Deeds,
decrepit,
decrepit.
severed, and then Diego.
That's what it was.
Casey,
Because I have
dude,
to-
we gotta go.
So I know. See.
You know,
Casey is
dude.
super, dude. Like not tired, like to go another hour and a half.
Yeah.
He's like,
I'm like, yeah, dude.
that's a
It is
trooper though,
1:32
dude.
in the morning.
Sticking it out, dude. Sticking it out.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Nah, you're rolling, dude. Casey's the shit.
Boom! There we go. Look at this
This
reef.
is-
Look at this reef one. We got personal favorite episode.
Yep.
Reef's like
What up, dude?
one of the
Reef's the
best
shit.
commenters.
Episode was my.
I like
Yeah.
the Mike Hamilton one. There's
Dude,
Sierra again.
let's do a Casey Love Fest right now and see what happens.
Casey's the best. I don't know. He's the ultimate shredder.
Oh, it said episode 10. Sorry, not this episode. That's shitted on the
The
thing.
episode was my personal favorite.
What was episode
Oh,
10? Who was
I
episode
don't
10?
I think it was like fucking Corpse Grinder with like hanging out with
Yeah,
Let's
right.
pull it up, guys. You know what? We're
Alex
so
Webster.
professional
Dude.
right now.
How far you fallen? Now you got me on the show.
No,
You don't-
dude.
No,
First
this
of all,
is
you're on the list of
this is
people
a
we've always
personal
wanted.
favorite. This is
You
a
have
this
lists,
is a
dude.
the way that we book this show is not always just for like what we think people would like. It's got to be people we want to talk to, dude. And Lee, you've been on the list of people we've wanted to talk to for a very fucking long time.
It's just great.
No,
to honestly
literally,
sit
like-
down with you guys.
I mean,
For
if you
me,
think
like-
about it in the way that we work, the way when we started, even though your name may have not come up right when we started, you were supposed to be on the show when we started.
Well, normally I'm like I said, in the Magic Kingdom by now. So every time I can chime in the chat, it's normally like 10 o'clock, and I'm like ready to wind her
what's
down.
Psyched I am when I see like Lee Smith or like Mr. or Dr. Junior. What I was saying earlier, by the way, Anthony cut me off, and so I just sound like I called you trash. But the trash argument, or not argument, but the story of
I don't even fucking remember what you're
no,
talking
I was
about.
like, no, let me finish the story about blah blah. And like I just called him. I was like, yeah. Speaking of trash, Lee, you remember? And they're like, no, let me finish it.
Yeah.
So Lee was literally like the funniest dude I've ever lived with in my life. There'd be times where I'd come home from Circuit City. I was working at Circuit City, and
Circuit
Lee and
City,
Sierra.
you
I loved them so much. And by the way, recently I don't want to bring this up, but I'm going to because I love that cat so much. But R.I.P. Monkey.
Yeah,
That was one of my yeah, their cat just passed away this year. Yeah, fuck yeah, that cat was amazing. I love that cat. The cat would play fetch with you like a dog, dude. When it was like 1 or 2 years old, you'd throw a thing and it'd bring it back to you, and you'd play fetch. Anyway,
he was living in the apartment when Casey was still in Decrepit. So Casey would drive from San Francisco to rehearse with Decrepit in the living room. You left your kit there for a while too. So I remember like
okay.
Monkey would be locked in the bedroom, which was Josh's old bedroom in the living room. And I remember
Yeah,
coming home one day.
Oh,
And
once
Casey
I
was like,
moved back to SF. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Casey
Yeah,
would be like,
crazy.
that cat is relentless. He would just be scratching at the door and meowing the entire
Yeah.
time. And meanwhile, Decrepit is just like on the other side of the door.
One of my the first thing I think about Monkey is that when you're like, we got a new cat, he's in there, and he was locked in that room, and I was like walking, and I like it was like next to like he was like next to a black shoe, and I like stepped like 1 inch from just crushing that cat's life.
Because he looked just like the
From
shoe.
his, yeah, he was just like blended in. I'm like looking for him. I'm like, where is he, dude? What's going on? No, I wanted to see the kitten. I was all excited, and I was like doing the kissy noise, and then I almost stepped. I was like this far from just like full pressure stepping.
So this will kind of transition into the end of the story of me, because I got that cat when we moved back to Santa Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
Estradasphere fell apart, dissolved, and Sierra and I were both ready to move back to Santa Cruz because she had a job there, I had a job there, and finding work in Seattle was fucking terrible. At one point, I was, I think I was bartending. No, at one point I was working at a gas station on the bay. I was working at a fuel dock, and I was cleaning houses by night to make enough money to survive in Seattle.
Jesus.
So it was dumb. So I was like, what the fuck am I going to live here when I can move back to Santa Cruz and work for Jesse? And at that point, you were like, we need a roommate. And we're like, we're in. We're fucking in. We'll move into the
instantaneous.
Sure.
Yeah.
So at that point, it was me, you, and I think Dylan from Brain Drill was living there.
Dylan from Brain Drill. Yep.
Fucking awesome.
Like when I moved out, right?
Yeah.
We ended up taking the room that you were in at the end, which was Josh's old room, right? The room in the living room.
That one living room, yeah.
So sick deal, it was like $600 a month, and we're splitting a bedroom, Sierra and I, so it was like $300 a month. It was like living in a closet all over again. But it was in an apartment with Joel and fucking Dylan with one bathroom.
The one bathroom thing is
one bathroom with the laundry in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
coins. You
had to wake
coins.
up really early to use the fucking bathroom, basically, before Joel and Dylan would start shitting for fucking 3.5 hours.
2 showers.
My worst thing
showers, but one was just like a storage thing.
Yeah, that second shower never worked. Remember that creepy hallway in that corner where you go down the stairs?
Yeah, that was just a storage area for us.
It was like a psych ward or something back in the day, or something.
It used to be a rehab place, right?
Okay.
Be a rehab.
It was like a halfway house or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. When I was moving out of there, there was all these drums and musical equipment in that fucking thing, and I was like, I was like, dude, like that cleaning that house was insane. Like the last clean of that place,
the last people to live at the furniture dome.
Yeah.
I got the fucking deposit back. It's insane.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did. I think I might have. Because they charged us for a bunch of left mattresses and stuff, and they had to go to the dump, so they took like $300 or $400 off of it. So it was a penny.
It had that creepy like storage like section on the down the hall past.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
I just remember
remember the Josh's drums and stuff.
By the front door when we moved out, it was like all the vinyl tile had been ripped up. The entire the entire path of the door, all of the floor was fucking concrete.
And then Shara lived there afterwards. Shara lived there for about 7 years. Yeah, after that.
To keep going, when we moved to Florida, we moved to Sierra's hometown because we didn't have anywhere to fucking go. Like when you put in your 30-day notice at the apartment, Carrie did the same thing like 3 days later. So we're basically like, I can't afford to put a deposit in anywhere right now. This kind of just happened. So we're basically like, all right, we're fucking leaving California.
I feel like we were there way longer than you were.
Oh, you were?
Okay. But you knew the plans to move. No, the plans to move were like, because I remember you were gone. That emotional thing, I still remember you leaving and us crying outside and hugging. That was like one of the more emotional moments of my life that I remember.
I sold Chase my car, and I cried when I sold him my car.
Yeah. that final hug though, I still will never forget. That was like one where it was like, fuck, dude. Like,
it's like I don't know when I'm gonna see you again, dude.
Yeah.
That shows like fucking brotherhood, dude. That really shows like the brotherhood that was built at that
all the
time,
laughs,
dude. I'm batting advice too. I'll fucking cry right now.
Yeah.
Dude, I think this is a sign that we all need to fucking get back in contact, dude. I really
think if we go see Lee again, then he's gonna cry all over my fucking. I'm just kidding.
I want to cry with Lee though. That's the thing. Like I would like to have a good cry.
Is Nashville a joke? Is Nashville like? Are you saying Nashville constantly for a joke?
Everyone has moved to Nashville. I mean, Nash Vegas. Sorry, we'll call it Nash Vegas from here on out. Sounds a lot cooler that way. Maybe I can actually get you to move there.
I know, but that's the first because they all like go to Seattle. Like it starts like in spurts. So it's Seattle, Portland, then it goes to Austin, and now it's Nashville. Like it's like all these different spots that like become the like migration for the place that's like expensive where people go. It's like,
yeah, I mean, Nashville's kind of the irrefutable place to go to right now because there's so much music there. I mean,
It's
the fact
definitely
that
a hot spot.
all these
Yeah.
folks are moving there is kind of a sign. Like fucking Mark Lewis is there, and he's doing his own shit out of his home studio now. Like
he's like 2, 3, or he's like a block or two from Naveen and Cheney.
yeah,
So they're like
Yeah.
same with
constantly
what
like recording.
Scott from Fallujah too. It's like fucking what is
Yeah, they just moved there, and then also
Shout out Jared.
Evan Brewer.
Evan's been there for a while though, right?
Yeah, he was like the original. He's the OG, and it's funny because today, sorry, this is ridiculous for everyone's listening, but today, like Ancestry.com said, like, oh, I got an update, and like it's like turns out like most of my family is from Tennessee. Like that's like where a lot of my and then Germany and so, but and
So you moved to
Portugal.
Tennessee then?
No, I mean, I'm not going to go to the next Austin just because everyone's going there. That sounds like a
How
nightmare.
quick?
4
How
hours
quick
for
did
me.
you order a belt buckle, dude?
Dude,
I got some belt buckles already. I'm good.
Dude, I have that cred now where I'm just like, dude, I've been there before, dude. Like my family was there before you guys, so I'm like way cooler than you did. I don't know, but no, it's Tennessee was one of those places that actually did catch my eye. Austin did when we were touring, 2010, 2000, like at the very end. I was like, but now it's like overrun. It's like now like everyone's like, now it's like completely crazy San Francisco traffic every day, LA traffic, whenever you want to do anything, because everyone ran there.
Same with Nashville though.
Yeah,
Joel,
Nashville's now that.
You should check out Kansas City, dude.
I mean, I've looked at Kansas City a lot. Dude, I've looked at it a lot. I literally, when I was there with my dad 2 years ago, because I'm a fucking Chiefs fan for life, dog.
There's no three-peats allowed. You're gonna lose.
No, last time we did my dad and I did a tour of the Kansas City Chiefs Stadium about 3 years ago, and they were like talking to me, and they're like, "Oh, we're hiring IT people," and I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh, my ears perked up." I was like, "Oh,
your tail started wagging."
I was like, "Work for the Chiefs, dude, for IT." It's like it's in Missouri, but Kansas and Missouri for the stadium is like 5 minutes, and it's one of those weird cities that's like in 2 states. It's like Kansas City, Missouri, dude.
Yeah, I have family that lived in Joplin and Kansas City.
Oh,
and it was right there.
Yeah,
that place got wiped out by that.
It's right there.
Dude, my great grandma's where she lived got wiped out, but she passed. She passed before it happened, but her area was totally hit, and I was just like, damn, dude.
On the East Coast, though, with you guys were in Florida, Lakeland, Florida. I remember you guys moving to Lakeland, Florida,
Central
right?
Florida, Lakeland, Florida.
Yeah. Did that ever get hit by like crazy storms? Because we're obviously seeing them constantly, but like, was that ever?
They get some shit, but nothing directly there. When we were there, actually, there was a huge storm that passed through because we volunteered with the Florida Sun and Fun, which is kind of like a air show. It's like the second biggest air show in the nation, next to the Oshkosh one.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So we volunteered for that because her family's done that for years. It's pretty cool. So you get like kind of a backstage pass to be at this giant air show.
Hell yeah.
There was one day at that air show that shit got fucking crazy. I think a bunch of planes got flipped over.
Damn.
And I'm just like sitting in a Ford Taurus.
Like shit. No,
basically. It's pretty chill.
Yeah.
She's saying
oh, sorry, I'm not even looking at the chat. Sorry.
Got a lot of rough wind and rain, but no direct hurricane too often. Too often.
What the fuck does that mean? We get last earthquake was 1989, so people always go like, "Oh, we don't want to deal with the earthquakes in California," but then you guys get hit like not too often.
Yeah, chill. You get used to it. I mean, I was just in New Orleans last week for work, and we had a contract company working with us, and like we show up to the job site before they do, and then they show up and we're like, it's fucking raining cats and kittens out here, and I'm not. And like, I would not do this job when these guys show up. I'm like, what do you think? And they just say, we're from New Orleans. Let's work. Fucking pouring rain. Like,
damn. There was time I remember going through a tornado storm in North Dakota on tour, and we were like, Californians going through Fargo, just like whatever. There's like fucking 80 tornadoes supposedly around us, and we have flip phones. There's no iPhones or anything. So we're like, let's go talk to the local folks. We pulled over at a gas station, and they just started fucking laughing their asses off at us. They were like, really?
Y'all ain't from around here, are you?
You're worried about the 9 tornadoes that are around us? Like, it's not a big deal, dude. And I was like, now I have nightmares about that. Like, remember, there's bands that were singing,
tornado.
there's bands that were like, we saw 3 of them on the way. And I'm like, and they're just all just like doing business. Like, yeah, dude, you want that cigarettes? Cool, it's all good. And we're like, dude, is like, should we? I remember hitting up someone that texted me back on like, if you're in this area, if you're in a car, pull over and lay down on the ground.
Lay down and die.
And all the horns are going, and we're like driving around. We can't see anything. Full rain.
It's like the emergency horn.
Yeah.
In the background.
It's the tornado. You guys know the tornado horn, right? That's they have a horn
every first Wednesday of the month at June. I'm not kidding.
I know it's like they just miss you guys all the time. You're like, whatever, dude. Pussies, they fucking won't even hit us, dude. What's going on? Like, I feel like they like the way we walked in there and asked about it. They just thought we were just insane for caring about it. And when they were like, the weather report was to lay down on the ground if you don't have cover.
Submit,
dude.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And over here in California, it's like you might fucking feel a vibration at 6 a.m. You're not gonna be able to go back to sleep. The
big one's coming though, dude.
It's gonna, yeah, I know, dude. That is actually, I try not to think about that one.
Because I actually used to work next to the seismology lab in Sacramento, and there'd be like actual legit scientists, engineers coming in there. And I'd be like, oh, so I got you. So what's the next chance of like a bigger earthquake happening? They're like, and this is about 8 years ago. They're like, within 20 years, probably 98% chance it's the biggest earthquake of all time. And I'm like, fuck.
That's nice.
And then we also, what is it? The Yellowstone explosion too.
The super volcano or whatever.
I know.
Yeah, that'll take
annihilation.
That'll take.
Why don't we just fucking plug that thing, dude?
Yeah, can we get that thing on the podcast?
Yeah. Well, that's like a whole nother thing. The Yellowstone thing.
That takes out way more than just California.
Yeah, that's a super volcano. But there's also the Cascadia, like,
yeah, right.
You know, shit like
you can think about it all day and just shoot your pants.
What's the Cascadia?
It's that, like, I think this is subduction zone, like out, like off the coast of like Oregon, Canada, Washington, BC, and all that. But it's like, if that shit slips super hard, it could be like mega tsunamis into
it's like mega tsunamis to Japan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we go there too, but it just
getting them back for Fukushima, dude. We'll send one big one over there.
So yeah,
just a little anxiety sprinkled at the end of this podcast. I love it. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thank you, dude.
I'm gonna go tsunami myself to sleep.
Lee, dude, you're welcome back any fucking time, dude. I know it's later for you in your time zone, dude, but if we have like a once a month Lee,
we stayed up till like 4 a.m. Like that was like our normal bedtime back in the day.
We have to have a Lee part 2 like soon.
Oh, of course,
for sure, dude.
I'm gonna send Lee a link to every episode, and if he wants to just pop in and be like, "Hey guys,
he's the new."
I feel like you guys are doing this.
More stories too. I mean, how I met Mike Hamilton is all because of y'all.
So much more.
One last quick story.
Let's do Mike Hamilton. Let's do that real quick.
I was playing in a band, and we were on Relapse Records. This is after I moved back to Atlanta after being in Florida. I was playing in this band Royal Thunder, and we got flown out to LA to play the Relapse Records showcase, and Exhumed were the headliners.
Fuck yeah!
And I didn't know Hamilton was playing drums for Exhumed.
Mm-hmm.
So we walk into the club, and you just see Hamilton's S-Class sonar kit with the buzzsaw between the two toms, and I'm like, that's Mike Hamilton's kit. Where the fuck is Mike Hamilton? So I go find Mike Hamilton and introduce myself, and we've been friends ever since. Exhumed's like slept at my house 2 or 3 times.
Nice.
Just saw him play the other week or the other month. 6 times every time. Hamilton's the ultimate sweetheart homie.
Oh, totally, dude. He was great. Like Joel had alluded to earlier in the episode. he was the one who shepherded us through tour life, you know.
Uncle
He was
Yeah.
tour dad the night I saw him last too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just gives you all the good
Skeletal Remains
tips.
was opening up, and Pierce's pedals fucked up before they started playing, and he kind of freaked out. He's like, "Fuck, my pedals are fucked. I can't play." And instantly, Mike Hamilton gets on stage and is like, "What do you need?" And he just goes to his toolbox.
Yeah, he goes
and
into
brings
like
it to him, and they play a killer fucking set.
He's like, I want to help out the situation. I want to handle this. Well,
and that's why Exodus has been using him for years.
Yeah, true.
You know?
Yeah.
Because he's got that work ethic, that mindset of focusing and making sure that you have a good show, dude. If that's and you don't have to be the higher band on the bill. You don't have to have that relationship with anybody else on the bill, but Mike goes the extra step, dude, and gets involved with the people that he's on tour with, you know.
Yeah, he's the best.
We've heard stories of people who just ignore everybody else on the tour, you know.
Yeah, no, he's not that guy.
He is the opposite of that guy.
Yeah, he wants to fucking hang out and see what's going on and be like, but I do have a story that I've even just quick, we'll end it with this. So Lee, we ran into who did we run into in Streetlight Records as the drummer of Toto?
Simon Phillips.
Simon Phillips. Yeah. I told my dad that and he's like, what? Damn, you ran into that guy? And I was like, I didn't know who it was at the time. And like Simon Phillips was like, he's all, me and you went to Streetlight together, and Simon Phillips like walking around, and you're like, that's fucking Simon Phillips.
Simon Phillips right there. I'm gonna go talk to him.
I'm gonna talk to him. I was like, I'll walk up with you. I like walked up with you and shook his hand too. And I was like, I don't know who the fuck that is. But, and after
that guy's from outer space.
Yeah.
But you were a part of the situation though, dude.
No, I knew that like if Lee's freaking out of this guy, like I should probably meet him, like because like Lee, like we have like very similar tastes, and like, oh fuck, that's that guy. I'm like, all right, I'll go meet that guy.
For sure.
Yeah, that was at Streetlight in Santa Cruz, and that was like, I told my dad about that, and he was like, damn.
Wasn't that on your birthday or something too? Like I remember we went to the boardwalk on one of y'all's birthdays together.
Oh,
like,
geez, that part is not part of the equation in my brain. But yeah,
Streetlight is not what it was, dude.
It's still there though. Still there.
Yeah, I know, dude. Amazing. But when we went for your engagement party, dude, I one morning of that trip, I went there with my high hopes of getting a dose of nostalgia, right? I walked over there. Our hotel was close enough to where I walked there, and I just had my little moment I was like, I'm going to have my own little moment.
Yeah.
Wife's back at the hotel. The kids are with the grandparents, dude. I'm going to go flip through fucking CDs right now. This is going to be fucking rad. And I get there, dude, and all of what the metal section used to be, which was
tiny
multiple sections, I would think, right? Whittled down to 2 rows, dude.
Yeah.
And I think I've said it on the show before, but I'm going to just say it again. It was so depressing because they kept all of the dividers still. There was just chunks of dividers. Remember when the guys cared about their like metal and redid the logos with this Sharpie.
Oh yeah, they actually like made the band's logos on them.
Yeah.
All that was still there, but there was no CDs.
It's a big, thick, like remnants of like no CDs in between these like things, but like you can look at them.
So
dude, I'd love to take.
It's weird that the shop. It's weird that the shop like had enough of a connection with the dividers more than the merchandise.
I'd love to just bring a divider up and just be like, how much is
this?
Yeah.
Every time I came here, I want this one and like the immolation one or something.
We get the Necker Pages divider.
Yeah, the Necker Pages, like the old
autograph
logo
by the artist.
Dude, actually.
No, sorry. Yeah.
I actually kind of want to go do that now. I want to go see if they're still there for purchase.
Dude. I need to get that. I need this.
Mm-hmm.
I need this.
All right, dude. We are approaching the 4-hour mark.
I didn't think I'd make it this far.
Yeah.
Well,
Dude, Lee, we love
it's
you.
fun,
We'll watch
dude.
you on weekend,
We're having
dude.
fun. Dude.
Okay. He's like,
Anytime.
Lee, we fucking love you.
Yeah.
you're back.
Anytime you want to have me on, just let me know.
Casey made it. This is actually a compliment for you, Lee, dude. Casey did an Irish goodbye at you.
Oh
tonight,
yeah.
dude.
He stuck
Well,
through
Irish
it and got
goodbye.
super tired.
Yeah, I had a
and
little crack in the middle, but I didn't Irish goodbye you. No.
Yeah,
No,
usually
dude,
he's
he
like-
wanted to
he's
hear
like,
for the
"I'm gonna
whole
take off,
thing,
I'm gonna
dude.
take over this stuff," and I'm like, "Yeah,
No.
totally."
That's
And
such
then
a
can't just
that's a
bring
love
it.
letter, dude. That's a love
Yeah.
letter from Casey, dude.
Wholesome.
Yeah.
Wholesome death metal stream.
It's a big deal.
All right, well, let's go to bed. I'm tired too.
All right,
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Well,
it's time.
Chris,
Uh,
all right. Everybody in the chat with us still. That's so rad you're still here. Love you guys very much. Had a great time.
Anthony, I love
All
you
that
too.
shit. Battle Forge Coffee, Generator
wrong
Rehearsal
one.
Studios. Plug in Diego again for
yeah,
a second
shout
time.
out Diego. Shout out Deviled Eggs.
Shout
Shout
out
out
Deviled
Dennis.
Eggs.
Shout out Dennis. Spawn Possession.
Shout out. Oh yeah. Shout out Dennis. Spawn
Fine,
Possession.
human shout out.
Shout out
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah,
I love you guys. All right. We'll
Well,
have a
me-
blast
Yeah.
until we meet again. Rock on.
Love you guys.